The giant.
I didn't see any giant.
I caught someone breaking into the museum. He was tall. He took something.
Well, did you see his face?
Scarred. Dark skin. He spoke some form of Latin.
Latin? Well, that is a novelty.
Come on, Marcus. We need to find out what he took.
Yes, righto. Well, this display case has been... Is there anything missing?
Let's have a look.
We should look around for the exhibits that were in this display. Look at this mess. The exhibits are all over the floor.
Ancient Egyptian, obviously. A depiction of Bastet. The Bastet statue goes in the Egyptian section.
Looks right,
Let
Indy.
me show you.
Funerary mask, Brody.
Is that solid gold?
Funerary mask goes here.
Grand.
Only the
Terracotta.
best for you.
Likely Babylonian out of Iraq.
So, that's where the relief belonged.
Welcome back anytime.
Ah, look at this. Ugaritic letters.
I like that they're doing the exposition of like the adventure.
Ah, well done, Indiana. So, is everything back?
Not quite.
Well, what's missing? SW 003. What was that?
Siwa expedition.
What are you doing?
He took the cat mummy, Marcus. But why?
The thief may have left a clue to their identity.
Yeah. Let's keep looking.
I saw that smashed window down the corridor from your office. Perhaps that is where he got out. I feel sorry for whoever has to clean up this mess before Monday.
Oh, you remember that time the doctoral student snuck pigs into Dawson's office?
Ah, yes. I suppose it could be worse.
Ooh, 120.
You do look worse for wear, Indiana.
Must be something here to patch me up.
I'm sure the nurse won't mind you helping yourself.
Just what I needed. Marcus, help me out here.
Coming, Indiana. Oh, don't mention it.
Huh.
A pendant, is it?
Must have got caught when he left through the window.
Let's retire to your office and figure this out.
Good idea. Somebody sure went to a lot of trouble to steal a cat mummy.
It was a beautiful piece. You found it in Siwa, didn't you?
Yeah, 6 weeks ago. Something about that dig.
This is well written. Way better than I expected from Bethesda. I didn't think Bethesda was capable of actual writing at all.
That looks Catholic to you, doesn't it?
It's the sigil of the Vatican Secret Archive, if I'm not mistaken.
This isn't just about a cat mummy, Marcus.
What are you going to do, Indiana?
I'll need my classes covered, of course.
Indiana,
Dawson seems the likely choice. Maybe Kittredge?
oh, look. Someone's left you a gift. How long has that been in there?
I haven't opened this suitcase for a year. Not since Cairo.
It's a beautiful journal, isn't it? Who's it from?
Doesn't say.
What are you packing? And just where are you planning on going?
Only the essentials.
I see. You know, you can talk to me, Indiana, about Marion.
There's nothing to say, Marcus.
Wow.
This will be a nice gift.
She rang. Did I tell you that? 2 months back, when you left for Siwa. She was at her wit's end with you. I didn't know what to say.
It wouldn't have made a difference. She had her mind made up.
I wonder if Marion plays a significant role in this. I'm glad they got the original voice actor for Marcus, but I had assumed he had passed. Maybe the original actor did pass.
Setting
But
out on another foolhardy escapade is not going to make. Though I must admit, I am intrigued. Why would the Vatican want your cat?
yeah, the original actor has to be
Exactly.
passed.
And there's only one way to find out.
Come now, Indiana, you can't travel to Italy. The college would never sanction leave for this. Not in the middle of midterms. I mean,
Marcus, what's done is done. Maybe I shouldn't have gone to the Siwa expedition, but it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
and when you got back, she wasn't there.
I gotta go.
You can't just run away from your problems, Indiana.
Watch me.
Watch me.
On next plane to Rome. Stop. Need help. Stop. Meet me in Vatican. Stop. Indy.
Meet me in Vatican. Stop.
My friend, stop. Vatican not safe. Stop. We'll wait for you at village steps. Stop. Subtlety is a virtue. Stop. Antonio.
Okay. Village steps. Should be on the other side of this fortress.
Serve una... E tu chi sei? Che cosa ci fai qui?
I'm just a tourist, pal.
Ai, che dolore!
And that's Professor to you. Here we go. Huh?
Ehi, cos'è stato? Darò una lezione.
Time to shine.
I'm glad that I didn't buy this game. Because it frankly is boring. It's boring.
All right, here we go.
Indy, is that you?
Antonio.
We have to make haste. I just saw Father Ventura with a black shirt on his way to the Castello.
Father Ventura?
What's that?
I said, who is Father Ventura?
We call him the Men in Black. A friend of Mussolini. Practically runs the Vatican now that the Pope has taken ill. Shh, that's him.
A Benito serve altro per renderlo a proprio agio?
Il duce non sarà mai a proprio agio dentro il Vaticano.
Wait, something like killed my horse, I
Quando
guess?
arriveranno i suoi ospiti?
Domani, se il vento è favorevole.
I can't hear them anymore.
I think they're gone.
Father Ventura opened the gates to the Vatican.
The horse died. Why did the horse die?
Shameless.
Ah, damn it.
Who's the guest they're waiting?
Where is the horse?
I have no idea.
Where is this horse? Did they just aggro it and kill it? Oh, I guess they did. Oh, the zombies killed it? Okay.
Almost there.
Oh, well. God damn it. I don't think I want to play this game anymore. I've been playing it all day. It's a fun game. I like it.
We made it, Henri.
I haven't heard that name in a long time.
How many years has it been? 19?
Since the infirmary by the Piave.
Those were dark times. Unbearable without a good friend at my side. Follow me.
Indeed.
Hey, Antonio.
For me?
No, that's the latest humdinger out of New York City.
Grazie, amigo mio. I think you will need some rest.
This is well written. I didn't think Bethesda could write anymore. That's Duke Ellington, I think. No, this is older. Way older.
Buongiorno. This American music is astounding. How do they play like that?
Ehi, che ci fate voi qui? Ventura ha detto di fare pratica per il comitato di benvenuto. E da quando?
What's going on outside?
Da un prete. Ma sa come fare?
They seem to be particularly on edge this morning. I have cornetti if you want something to eat. So what brings you to the Vatican, Indy?
I'm looking for someone. A tall fellow.
Tall fellow. Well, there is Giovanni, the chef. He is quite tall, and his risotto ai funghi is...
Very tall. Like a giant. He stole something from me, and I mean to find out why.
What did he steal?
Well, a cat mummy. Very unusual for where it was found. And the thief left behind his Vatican calling card.
Vatican robber in Connecticut. That seems a bit far-fetched, don't you think? Can I see this calling card?
What do you make of this?
It looks like the sigil of the Vatican Secret Archive, but there's something different about it. Are you sure you want to investigate this, Indy?
Look, things don't add up, and it's driving me crazy. There's more to that cat mummy, and I'm not letting that giant off the hook.
Well, the only giants I heard about is from back in the 16th century. And a certain Father Crescenzo claimed to have seen secret messages inscribed in the oldest buildings of the Vatican. He said they referenced a group of giants he called the fallen angels, hidden in the holy city. But bear in mind that Father Crescenzo was known mainly for one thing.
Oh yeah? What's that?
Star-craving, brain-sick madness. Well, let's get you dressed like you belong here. Now I remember. This symbol you showed me, I have seen it once before, in the library. Yes, in the conservation workshop. Most likely nothing, but you did say you wanted to investigate this.
It's a lead worth following.
You can put these on.
A clerical
I
suit.
hope they
Huh?
fit.
Well, at least it fits.
Perfetto, Indy. You should have become a man of the cloth.
I found another calling.
We have to be careful. Il Duce has eyes and ears everywhere, even in the Holy City.
Vi siete fatto un amico, padre?
Well, Padre Ventura, this is,
Father Gallagher from St. Joseph's, Boston.
Ah. An American. You're here to help. Antonio, he's going deaf, he says. An old war wound, I'm told.
Oh, I'm just here to serve God. Aren't we all?
Ne assumete la responsabilità. Credo che il Santo Padre sarebbe in quanto contrariato se introducessimo individui discutibili nella sua città.
Naturalmente, Padre Ventura.
He's a jolly fellow.
Yes. Good luck, Indy. If you need me, I will be here, in my office.
Take a look in the library. See if I can't find that symbol.
All right, Indy. I'll see you later.
Camera's good. Graphics aren't that good.
Let's see if this works.
They're pretty, but they're not looking so good.
What have you found, Indy?
Secret entrance.
In my library? Where do you think it leads?
Only one way to find out. Who turned out the lights?
There is a candle on the table you can use to light your way. Good thinking, Indy. Let's go inside.
All right, follow me.
Watch your step, Indy. I've been asking to have the library renovated for a very long time.
I'll be careful.
This is very exciting, Indy. My hands are shaking. I wonder who built this place and what it was for.
Whatever its purpose was, it's been abandoned for centuries.
Where are you going, Indy?
To see if there's another way past this gate.
Of course, I will stay here then, alone.
There's a gate
The
here.
priest is kind of a
I
pussy.
wonder how we open it.
That's probably one way.
There you are.
Let me get that gate open first.
It's very dark. I think we need some light. It almost looks like a kind of alchemist's laboratory. Oh, who is this poor individual? L'eterno riposo donna
Father Crescenzo, perhaps.
splenda dessi la luce.
This writing certainly is
Riposano in pace.
eccentric.
What's that on the table?
You know, this might be a map of those inscriptions you talked about.
I fear this will lead you nowhere, Indy, but if you can bring me some photographic evidence of these inscriptions, we can study them together in my office without raising suspicion.
Let's say I bring you some evidence. You got a camera I can use?
No, but speak to Ernesto, the old janitor in the Vatican post office. I hear he has some special deals from the lost and found section. Here is a very special key. It will give you access to places in the Vatican only priests are allowed. Do not lose it, Indy.
I'll keep it safe.
I have to organize a proper burial for this unfortunate soul. If you need anything, you will find me in my office, Indy.
Oops.
What an exciting discovery, my friend. Even though I have doubts, I hope it will be of use to you.
I'm sure it will, one way or another. A lot of secrets in the Vatican. Must be some connection to the cat mummy. Should see about that camera, too.
Mi dispiace, sorella. La strada verrà ripavimentata a breve.
Oh, that went easier than expected. Antonio was right. This sounds good.
Pensa qualcosa? Voi due, forza, al lavoro!
Signor sì, capitano.
Arriviamo, capitano.
Finalmente. Era più di mezz'ora che discutevano. Da non crederci?
Some people just love the sound of their own voice.
Ah, an American. Yes, the fascists are... what is the word? I should not say. You have lost something, yes? Perhaps it is here in my collection?
Yeah, I need a camera. Antonio tells me you have some special deals.
Antonio sent you?
He's a friend.
Antonio is a lousy bum who cheats at cards. Goodbye.
Now just hang on. Let's work something out, huh?
I only have one camera, and it is very, very special. Quite small. Maybe this big. And you can take photos in color. Oh, so beautiful. You would need... well, it's very expensive. More than you could afford.
Look, I need to take some pictures, and there's no other camera in this place. So what do you say?
Well... this is the price you pay. I assure you, it is more than fair.
It's really that good, huh?
The camera is yours, signore. And tell Antonio that I still think he is a lousy cheat.
Thanks, Ernesto.
Oh, he took a picture.
It's that easy. Okay, signore. Go out and enjoy your camera.
Sì, benissimo così. La terra si lavora bene.
That's one inscription.
Salve.
Peace be with you, ma'am.
Di meglio di così, giovane. Se la gente vede del fumo nero, penserà che hanno scelto un nuovo papa.
That should be enough photos for
La
Antonio.
prossima volta ci scenderò di persona e mi assicurerò che sia tutto pulito.
Sto scherzando, giovane.
There must be more interesting things to take a picture of than this old priest Indian.
You look great. Okay, here's what we got. Mind if I borrow your magnifying glass?
By all means. Some of these inscriptions look more like vandalism.
Music's good.
Look closely.
Definitely ecclesiastical.
Could be an early representation of the Christian church.
This figure is taller than the others.
Like a giant.
Huh. Someone has carved Latin all over these symbols.
A secret message from Father Crescenzo, perhaps?
This figure is holding a sword.
Maybe it's a warrior. Your Latin is much better than mine, Indy. What do these inscriptions say?
The architect of the crusade that did not happen. The door of the fallen angel lies beneath his monument. What does that mean?
I see that. A crusade that did not happen. Dum diversas.
The papal bull.
Yes. After the fall of Constantinople, Pope Nicholas V tried to declare a crusade on the Ottomans, but...
It didn't happen. Nicholas V, his tower. That's his monument. Let's keep looking. The demon guards the way to the underworld, where the tomb of the warrior giant lies.
A demon?
His voice isn't that bad. He's doing a good enough job.
Mother of God, the Father Crescenzo was on to something.
Maybe this giant's tomb lies underneath the tower of Nicholas V.
Yes, but it says here, to enter the underworld, one needs the blood of the 5 sacred wounds. Look. You see,
5 sacred wounds from where Jesus shed blood. I'm gonna need some blood.
blood of Christ. Il nome del Padre, Figlio, Spirito Santo.
Amen.
What has been hidden beneath the Vatican? Henri, you should go to the Tower of Nicholas V and investigate.
Thank you, my friend. I knew I could count on you. Just like old times. I need a better angle. Saint Michael fighting the dragon. The demon guarding the way.
There's a lot of Christianity in this. It's hilarious. But I mean, it's Bethesda. Bethesda, Maryland, the heart of the Shaker country. Moravians. No, it's not the heart. That would be Pennsylvania, excuse me, but it's, you know, it's East Coast. East Coast Catholic. Very... East Coast is a lot more Catholic than the West Coast. This utter claptrap is kind of turning me off, though. They could have just kept it cool, like him fighting Nazis, and that would have been fine. Instead, it's like a bunch of Da Vinci Code bullshit, and I don't really think it was necessary. It's the same old bullshit. Bethesda always tries to make the story like fantastical or whatever, but they're not really that. It's weird because they're writing really good dialogue. Their dialogue is actually really on point, but the fucking story is not good. It's almost sacrilegious, too. What I just saw was... And I'm going to show this image because it's kind of interesting. I don't even know. I mean, it's obviously fine because it passed the censors. But I find this image to be slightly heretical. The depiction of the Christ, the wine, the fact that it's a video game character, as well as a man who is not a priest doing some sort of sacrosanct thing, some kind of ritual in a fucking basement, some kind of Christ blood ritual in a basement. And I don't like this. I've never understood this about software developers. They always want to put some weird cult shit into their fucking games. And I don't know. I don't really feel that this is necessary to the story. And it's frankly slightly like it's heresy slightly. Not the depiction of the Christ. The fact that honestly, when you think about it, he's a grave robber, and he's like doing the blood of the sacrosanct or something like that. It's really weird. It's like he's making a blood offering to Jesus Christ, and it's not necessary in a fucking video game. The Da Vinci Code bullshit about being under the church wasn't necessary. This shit is not necessary to be in a video game. You expect to see this sort of thing in a movie, which is fine. But like a video game, why? It seems sort of foul, really, because this guy, he sneaks around and steals religious idols. He should be the last one offering up some sort of sacrosanct to Jesus or whatever. It's kind of weird. This guy, he's not particularly evil. But if you bring God's judgment into it and make it a Christian thing here, this is a grave robber. He's not going to up there. He's going down there. So for him to be communing with Jesus and shit like this is really fucking weird. As slightly heresy. It's like they made him a criminal. And I mean, he's not a criminal, you know? He's just a tomb raider. I mean, he's a tomb raider. I've never heard of a better phrase for it. He's a tomb raider. So, like, you know, and that's cool. Something if it's for science and in history, it's fine. But I don't think that's usually the total connotation. He gets ripped off all the time by fucking, like, art dealers and shit like this who steal the fucking thing from him as he finds it. And it's weird. Like, this man, I don't know. Like, it always did sort of bother me how much Christianity they seem to want to inject into Indiana Jones, who himself was a tomb raider, who stole holy relics, which is really fucking weird. I mean, I suppose Christianity does fit into it. It's kind of a black and white... It's not a black and white story. Sorry, it's sort of a gray area story, Indiana Jones, because he sort of crosses country lines to sort of raid their tombs. And so when I think of godly men, Indiana Jones isn't one of them. So I see him doing the blood of the fucking sacrosanct or whatever, for this is the blood of, the blood of the covenant, right? So I keep thinking blood of the sacrosanct because it's like they would normally be a priest that would even be able to offer the blood, you know, and mean anything in the Christian in the sense of the Christian dogma or anything like that. It's got to be a holy man to do this. Having the Tomb Raider do it felt like heresy to me. And that's fucking weird. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it. You know, there was a slight bit of heresy in Pentiment, but not in an intentional way. It just felt like it was sort of trying to be this religious authority a little bit, which is sort of weird because it's a video game. And I don't know if I look to video game developers in particular to teach parables or and stuff, and it seemed a little bit weird. Now I loved Pentiment. I think a Pentiment is like a 9. The only thing that was missing was combat. That was it. But I mean, the game didn't need combat. It was a Disco Elysium story. It was really good, like Disco Elysium. It was actually genuinely good. It was a MMM, a Monastery Murder Mystery. It was super good. I like Monastery Murder Mysteries. I'm very fond of an old crappy movie called Name of the Rose, which is an MMM. It's where they originally got the idea from. It's this old thriller about Franciscan monks who sort of engage in detective work and forensics for the first time in like 1280 and stuff to figure out who murdered the local prostitute or whatever. And it's a really cool story. In the Name of the Rose, right? And it turns out that, as I remember, it's the deacon or something of the church, and he's hidden it. And as I recall, and Sean Connery is opposite. Oh, I want to say. Oh God, Sean Connery opposite. I want to say Broken Arrow. Who was that? It's John Travolta opposite Christian Slater. And I love Christian Slater. And we loved Christian Slater in Name of the Rose. And Name of the Rose was a hard movie to do. They shot it on site, like near the Vatican, in Franciscan friars and shit like this. It was insane. Well, I'm sorry, with Franciscan friars in churches and stuff that were like the real, Franciscan fucking chapels and stuff. And it was a really good movie for how crappy and B movie it sort of was, and it did spark an interest in this sort of stuff, and I think a bunch of generations of people like of MMMs, which are Monastery Mysteries. Now the Bethesda's doing the Monastery Mystery thing, the Monastery Murder Mystery thing. But they're like using sort of heretical concepts to do it, which is this fucking Tomb Raider is doing some kind of weird blood ritual of the Covenant with Jesus. And I find that to be, frankly, a little bit heretical. And it's weird that the fucking censors didn't catch it. And it's weird because, and I'm not woke. I don't care that they made this or did this. I don't care about this. I'm not a Christian. I don't believe in God. I don't care about this shit. What bothers me is usually they're fucking really up in arms about this shit. Usually. But when a Christian does it, they don't get up in arms about it. If when somebody else takes a shot at some heresy or something like that, the church goes, rabble, 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 you can't say that, you can't do that. And so does everybody the fuck else. Like, you can't show a graven image of Muhammad in the Eastern world and not piss off a lot of people who want to kill you, I don't think. It is sort of crazy. And so... like, it's weird. Bethesda plays with fire, and I guarantee they had to slide this past something like probably 15 censors or something. There's probably a huge censor board now that checks all these games out before they can go live and all this. How they got this past the censor is beyond me, because honestly, this Tomb Raider doing a blood covenant with Jesus is a little bit fucking weird for a video game for kids. It's a little bit heretical. It's a little bit like it steps on toes that don't wish to be stepped on. There's some dogma here that makes me slightly uncomfortable because I know how much this stuff matters to the idiots. You know what I'm saying? And so the whole thing slightly makes me fucking uncomfortable. This scene made me really, 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 really uncomfortable. And I honestly, it speaks to Bethesda's inability to truly tell a compelling story. They don't need this fucking shit. They were doing just fine. I don't even need to have the game on the screen. Their fucking byplay in the church where he borrows the deacon's fucking clothes or whatever was good enough. They don't need to do this bullshit where this fucking heretic Tomb Raider thief does some blood covenant with wine and Jesus in the Franciscan friar chapel basement or whatever. And I don't really understand the need for Bethesda to do stuff like this. They always did kind of bring in like a lot of religion to everything that they fucking do. Religion. Like, they even tried to sort of do it with Starfield when it wasn't fucking necessary. At that point, the whole fucking universe is dominated by science people who all rob each other's fucking, like, starships, like some kind of Star Trek universe. And, like, what the fuck did the weird space magic and all the Valrune stuff and all this weird shit have to do with any of it? Nobody needs your weird religion and fucking space. It's one of the reasons we don't want Elon to win that race. It's because they're gonna... I mean, Elon, I don't really know anything about him. But I know that people with a lot of money tend to be rich and white, and they tend to like to push Christian ideals on people when it doesn't fit the fucking views of the entire fucking universe's fucking like views. It just doesn't, it's just one of 16 ways to view something like this. So it makes us incredibly uncomfortable when they play with this sort of fire. And it's weird. I mean, I was raised in a Catholic school in a Moravian community, and I know that this stuff matters to some fucking people who don't watch television, who don't play video games, who just don't want their Jesus represented like this, I don't think. And how they got it beyond the fucking censors is beyond me. It's unnecessary. They could have just left the Passion of the Christ out of it. The video game itself is particularly sinful. He's a Tomb Raider. He travels across foreign lines trying to blur country as sovereign rule, sort of, to steal holy relics and ancient relics, And I don't know what that has to do with fucking Jesus. I never really did. I don't really understand why Steven Spielberg did it. There was so much Christianity, and it's weird because Steven Spielberg is Jewish. Where did all that Christianity for fucking, Spielberg was Jewish. Where did all this fucking Christianity shit come from? I don't think Indiana Jones ever needed Christianity shit, and I'll tell you why. There's a whole series of books, right, called The Young Indiana Jones. I read all of them, and they're really fucking good. They're considered canon. The Adventures of the Young Indiana Jones. They're called the Indiana Jones Chronicles. If you want to read some books that are incredibly trashy and incredibly dumb, but incredibly fucking entertaining, because he's always going off to some eighth wonder of the world thing like Machu Picchu, and then flying some stone fucking jet or something like that to Machu Picchu or whatever in the sky, and shit like this, or giant cubes in the sky and stuff like this, or he's doing really cool, like, maybe metaphysics stuff, but it's never like weird Christian dogma like they seem to want to mainline into the fucking Hollywood films. And there was a bunch of heresy in Indiana Jones. I didn't like how the fucking Ark of the Covenant fried the Nazis, because sure, we all want to fry the fucking Nazis, but I don't really believe God's just gonna fry the fucking Nazis like that. You really think he's just gonna fry like that's an act of God when the Ark of Covenant opens in Indiana Jones. I like Indiana Jones, but there was a lot about it that really fucking bothered me, like all the biblical scripture quoting at the end of the Holy Grail was cool, but it was also utter and complete poppycock and slightly heretical. It was like really weird. Now I'm super sensitive, and I'm not saying Indiana Jones is a bad premise or a bad IP or anything like that, or that the movies were bad. They weren't. Even the fourth one I think was a tolerable movie. I was able to watch it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like it, but I thought it was a tolerable movie. The one about the crystal skulls, it was at least watchable. I doubt the fifth one even is. So so I'm just like, oh no, I saw the fifth one. It wasn't watchable. It was fucking terrible. I saw the fifth one. I saw a fifth one on a plane last summer, I think, and it was fucking terrible. So understand. So this shit, they throw this in because it is shocking to people like me, and it elicits conversation, and there's a bunch of Illuminati fucking shit here that I really don't like. There's dangling nuts here and stuff like this that's meant to symbolically represent the thorns over the crown. But it's Illuminati because it's like spider web and weird Victorian principle era fucking catechism or stuff. And it's weird. The way that the holes in the door are placed seem almost heretical to me. This seems like almost a pagan's fucking depiction of a Christian idol. Now, the Christian idol might exist in real life. Maybe this is a real thing. What the fuck do I know? I don't think I've ever seen this image before. But it seems fictional. Maybe it's real and I'm just ignorant. I've never seen something like this before. But the way the holes are in the wall, they seem heretical to me. There's a certain symbology in Christian art that has to do with symmetry, the lack of symmetry next to the Christ. is not only offensive to my artistic mind, it's artistic to my mathematical. I'm sorry, it's not only offensive to my artistic mind, it also bothers me on a mathematical sense, because like if I were to say Jesus or God were something, I would say they're a perfect math equation, and the way that the fucking holes are fucking placed on the fucking worthless piece of shit art or whatever, even if it is a real piece of art, I don't care if it's a real piece of art in the real world. I don't like the piece of art. I don't care if it's considered to be Christian canon, it's in the Vatican or something. I don't like this piece of art. I don't like it if it's real even. I don't care. There's all kinds of heresy in it. There's the number 5. There's the Christian cross is fucked up. Can you see it? The cross is fucked up. The left side's something like double the length of the right side, which is fucking weird. It kind of makes it seem like something else has happened, like something else is happening from an evil depiction level, where you are viewing the passion of the the crucifixion of the Christ, but you're viewing it from a slightly off left kilter thing with 5 holes in an imaginary wall behind him, and it stinks of Satanism. The image stinks of Satanism. It stinks of it. This stuff is Illuminati Satanism, and so is the 5 holes and the weird symbols that are like weird Latin things to probably invoke God, honestly. And it's weird because in this image, usually you would see other things, and I don't really know what a classic depiction of the depictions of the crucifixion would look like. I kind of came looking for stuff like this, and it sucks that I found it, and I was surprised that I found it. I actually really, really did expect to be bored by this entire fucking 5-hour thing of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, but I am not bored. I'm bored of the game. It's a boring game. I'm glad I didn't even consider buying this, but the content is interesting. There's all kinds of heresy and dogma in it. There's stuff like Indiana Jones offering the sacrosanct to Jesus Christ, but Indiana Jones is a heretical fucking Tomb Raider. I mean, the man himself stole the fucking Ark of the Covenant in one of the timelines in the Indiana Jones, fucking story. Indiana Jones basically steals the Ark of the Covenant. I mean, he runs off with it, as I remember. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen those movies, but as I recall, he retains possession of the Ark of the Covenant for some period of time. Do you have any idea how much that might actually bother Catholics? Now, I want to show something about this image that's on the fucking screen. Do you see it? Because I do see it. I don't know if you see it, but I fucking see it. This is an upside down cross turned sideways. Do you fucking see it? This is so heretical. It's such a weird fucking offensive way to me. And I'm not even a fucking Christian. You know what really offends me about this shit is normally it's so bothering to me. That it's weird. It's because the artwork itself is done from a different depiction and stuff. But if you really look for the symbology, there is an upside down cross here turned sideways. Do you see it? Am I the only one who sees this shit? I swear to God, am I the only one who was raised on books? Who actually, maybe read the Bible or whatever? It's, weird. Who studied Freemason fucking imagery and all this other shit. There's so much Freemason imagery in this image. From the fire and the ark. Do you see it? There's a fire and there's ark. There's pillars. There's holes in the wall. There's God knows what those fucking symbols are. They're I don't know, maybe Latin, but I don't believe I've ever seen Latin symbols like that. It looks like heresy to me. No. They're oh, I'm sorry. No, they're numerical. They're just so badly done that I can't even tell that they're Roman numerals, but they're Roman numerals numbering 4. You know what they're reminiscent of? Motherfucking glory holes. Maybe Christians did stuff like this and I'm just ignorant of it. But I mean, this whole thing is reminiscent of, I don't know. It's it reminds me of Banksy. There's a hidden fucking weird like upside down cross turned sideways here. There's Banksy commentary about there's like glory holes by the Passion of the Christ. I'm just giving you what my fucking first impressions are. The image itself seems fucking foul to me, not because of the beautiful Jesus or whatever, but because of the fucking glory holes, the numbers on them, like it's gonna take 4 dicks or something like this. The balls dangling from the fucking ceiling like there's some kind of black thorns descending upon the Christ. You see it? It's almost foul in its execution. There are fucking dark, crappy black thorns like coming down like kudzu to choke the Christ or something like this. And he's dangling sideways. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he's lying on the ground and they've knocked down the... No. This is just really, really badly done. It's done by somebody who doesn't truly know Christianity very well. And it's really fucking badly done. The image itself really fucking bothered me for some reason. You know? And it's weird because most images actually don't like, even ones that are supposed to invoke this sort of response out of me doesn't usually do it. I don't have like uncanny valley things like with this sort of shit, but this was so weird. It has such weird subject content in it. Like there's 2 burning pillars in arcs, which to me is indicative of some kind of sacrifice. There's like some kind of sacrifice fire there. There's Blood of the Christ in a video game, which seems kind of fucking weird. Was it necessary? There's like 5 glory holes with numbers on them. There's the weird fucking angle I've never seen in a crucifixion before. Not the body. The body seems right. But the way that the cross is done, the way the camera angle is, it seems slightly off and to the left. And it's weird when you look at actual pictures of the crucifixion and stuff like this. There's been a lot of it. But none of them invoke none of these actual Christian images invokes some kind of heretical response in me. That one does. This one does. This one, no, where did it go? There was one there. This one does. This is Freemason and Luciferian and particularly evil. And there's a weird cycle of life thing going where dark horses and dark clothes are swirling all around the Christ in a big circle, which is fine usually. But what they're really doing is they're my God, what Christians thought people in the Middle East looked like when the Christ was supposed to be around is so offensive to me, kind of. This stuff is, I mean, this one really bothers me for some reason. And it's because it's entirely Victorian principle or whatever. And it's just weird. This is not what the Middle East looked like. Why did Christians need to say that this is what the Middle East looked like? It seems odd. Like, you can see Russia in the fucking background, I think, even. Or no, it would be like Constantinople, I think. But it's just sort of weird. It's like, I don't know. It's something about this image, this one bothers me the way that theirs bothered me. Okay, I did find an image that bothers me the way that theirs bothered me, but something about it, like there's so much side stuff in this image that really bothers me. There's also a white dot where his belly button is. Do you see it?
This is my blood.
Oh no, I'm sorry, that's his cursor. Never mind. I was like, what the hell is that?
Poured out from any into remission of
this
sin.
is heretical. They have no business putting this in a video game. It's not heretical, but the depiction is fine. I suppose the church doesn't really stop Hollywood from their heresy, I suppose. That's something that doesn't really happen, I don't think. So I suppose I'm sort of beating a weird dead fucking horse for a fucking faction of people that I don't represent that probably wouldn't like me because I don't believe in the same God as them. I don't believe in any gods. So it's sort of like, or I mean, I believe in, like, I believe in God being in everything or whatever. So I suppose you could say I believe in all gods, but I wouldn't say you could ever say I believe in a God. No. So it's like sort of weird. So,
This is it. Jesus on the cross. 5 sacred wounds.
The lack of
Walk right into that.
the lack of what's the word, the lack of what's the word, it's symmetry, the lack of symmetry, the blood sacrifice, all of this is so heretical. This whole scene really bothered me. Okay, I have a friend named, well, I won't say his full name. I'm just going to say E because it's enough. I have a friend I haven't seen in 10 years or something like that, but we're good friends. We left it on a good, we left it at a good place. He was sad when I moved away and stuff. We're good friends, but, I move through everybody's life. I'm the catalyst. I don't ever stay in people's lives. It's insane, but I don't stay in people's lives. I'm a catalyst. I constantly keep moving and changing. Changer would be a better name for me than what was given me, than my Christian given name. Changer would have been a better name for me. I actually would have been a lot more comfortable with the word changer as a first name than the name I got stuck with. And yeah, this is foul to me. Now it is a good, I don't like the depiction. I do like the sacred geometry, but it's not done well. And I despise the lack of symmetry, but the idolatry is not foul. This image is not foul. I just don't like it. Stylistically, it is not the best depiction of Christ. It's actually kind of it's a hack's depiction of Christ. If you're going to bring Christ into your fucking video game, at least do the depictions correctly. You know who did do depictions correctly? The beautiful imagery in Pentiment. You know who did do Christian fucking imagery? Fucking beautiful. Yeah, like, Pentiment gave me the most beautiful. There was such beautiful stuff in this game. And we're looking for some of the beautiful, like, stuff that they did. Like, some of the work that they did. This is how Christian art looks. It almost always has a sense of balance to it. There's almost never this lack of symmetry. Do you see how there's symmetry in this? It's almost like an MC Escher painting this. There is so much symmetry in this because anybody who actually knows anything about Christianity knows that this is how they do most of their images, unless it's something that they don't like. If it's something that they don't like, for instance, the crucifixion, they're scared of being they're scared of being doomed to hell just for depicting the crucifixion. They're literally terrified of it. So I would say most of the pictures of the crucifixion, while a sacred image, are also incredibly fucking disturbing. They're also like, really, some of this is so disturbing. Like, this was such dark material. So I don't like any of the crucifixion material, the images, but almost none of them seem foul. This one seems foul. This one seems really foul. This is like all of this of the Saturnalia of the universe, like dancing on the death of Christ or whatever. And I mean, I guess, but this one seems kind of foul to me. It's a little bit more. Notice that it sort of seems a little bit more like it doesn't have the symmetry of a real Christian piece of art. Like, there's always this symmetry here and stuff. See it? There's symmetry in all of it. There's always symmetry. Like, even in this image, the hand is not symmetrical. And they make a point of pointing this out. Do you see it? They run it higher, and they're like, the hand is not symmetrical because he is making a hand movement, right? So there is times when symmetry is not there in the artwork, but this isn't an accurate representation of when that symmetry is missing. It's sort of weird. It's like a hack's rendition of Christian idolatry. And if you're doing this, then just don't put the content in your fucking game. It just offends people. Now, thank God that the world has good people in it who just don't pay attention to this shit like I do, who just aren't hypercritical of everything, who don't critical think everything. Thank God there's people that can just relax and just let it happen to them still. I can't relax and let this fucking heresy and rape just happen to me. I can't actually do it, and I'm terribly sorry. And I don't believe in God. I'm more indignant for somebody else's fucking idol than they are themselves. It's fucking weird, but it's like that. It's like that for me. They forced me, for some reason, to learn so much. For some reason. I told them when I was like 6 years old, I was like, I don't believe in God and I'm never going to. I told them right away. I was like, no, I'm just too analytical of a person. I don't believe in God. I'm never going to. And they were like, that's crazy for a 6-year-old to decide. And I was like, no, it isn't. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. I'm never going to believe in God because I just don't believe that God's ever going to show me proof. I just don't believe that. And I was just like, so I respect your beliefs. But I, as a 6-year-old, I had to explain this to Catholic people who ran a church school, an expensive one. And they were like, you should not be having these thoughts. You should not be worrying about this. You should not be fucking caught up in it. And I was like, no, I'm reading at an 11th grade level and I'm like 6 years old. I do think about this shit. I do think about it all the fucking time. I think about what your fucking Christianity did to the world, be it good or bad. Let's look at when a YouTuber crashes out. Sounds a lot more entertaining than the heresy that is the Great Circle. Jesus Christ.
So I was scrolling.
And I don't even like Christianity or fucking that. I don't care about heresy. But I do detect when the humans around me are trying to slide underneath lines and cheat and kind of push stuff and be all kind of underhanded about it and all this shit. Kind of furtive is the word. It's like furtive. I don't really like it. And I feel that that shit was so furtive and so shitty and it just bothered me. I don't have to do it and I'm not going to.
Really only stops them like.
Honestly, Bethesda has done this to me several times. Some of their gods are kind of heretical. Like, I consider Vivek to be kind of, sort of like a slap in the face of the Hindu culture, maybe? I don't know. If you look at Vivek, it's an okay depiction. They didn't commit any heresy or anything like this, but they definitely didn't respect other people's religions. I wouldn't say. When you look at the nine divines, there's like, you know, no, did they intend to harm anybody? No. I believe in Bethesda's innocence. I do. I don't think they ever meant to harm anybody at all. They just want to add interesting things to their game that they find fascinating and all this. But the problem is you guys play with fire on the fucking lawn and there's gasoline everywhere. There's gasoline everywhere with this kind of shit. You know there is. There's gasoline with that shit. I'll play with it because I'm a streamer. It's okay for me to do it. They expect me to do it. You're delivering a fucking product to kids. You don't need to warp their little minds with your sideway cross and your lack of fucking weird, like, you know, symmetry in your idolatry in your video game that wasn't necessary in the first fucking place.
Damn, it's hot. That's creepy.
The Ark of the Covenant didn't need to be in the Raiders of the Lost Ark. I guess you could say the name of the movie is Raiders of the Lost Ark, but I think you could have just said Raiders, Indiana Jones and the Raiders or something like that. Indiana Jones and the Raiders would have been a lot better than Raiders of the Lost Ark. So let's go look if I'm the only person that thinks about this, because I guarantee that I'm not. Was Indiana Jones heretical? I can't really tell. Yeah, like, is it biblical? I don't know. I don't think so. I think it was slightly heresy. The idea of the Ark lighting up and murdering 30 fucking people who are just misguided humans it's like you're putting the word of God into the imagery itself, and you're saying that God's willing to just slaughter 30 fucking people right in front of other people that are innocent. And I don't know if God has a history like that. Does God have a history like that? God slew people, but I don't think God has this history of frying 30 people for a finale of a movie. And I would consider that to be heresy. It made me uncomfortable when I saw it when I was was a kid. Because I was like, I don't think God would just smote 30 fuckers, you know, all at the same time. I don't know if that's how that works. Do you just get to condemn these people to hell because they tried to steal the ark? Yeah, maybe God's vengeful, and I don't want to put words in the mouth, but is God... I mean, do you really want to worship a God who just smites 30 fucking people like he's Vlad the Slayer? Isn't that kind of a counterproductive message?
Is Indiana Jones biblical? In Raiders of the Lost Ark, the first Indiana Jones movie,
I came looking for this. You were it. I liked it. Thank you. You know, I came looking for this. You were it. Thank you. Yeah, that's rare.
movie, Harrison Ford's archaeologist character races to find the biblical Ark of the Covenant before the Nazis.
Now, archaeology is cool, but he wasn't an archaeologist at all. He was a tomb raider. He was constantly going places that he shouldn't go without supervision, without governmental oversight, and just pushing like dig sites that he was doing like illegally and stuff so he could just run off with the fucking idol. And he did this a lot.
Do. It's really a very enjoyable film.
Yeah, we love this film. I have no issue with Indiana Jones as a film. I just wonder if the fire that they played with was very responsible, sort of. Because now, you take a look at another piece of Indiana Jones canon, like The Great Circle. Now, I would say that's probably canon, I guess. And it's weird because it feels like they had to squeeze Christianity into it in for some reason because Indiana Jones had so much Christianity in it.
But even though it's action-packed and thrilling to watch, have you ever wondered how accurate it is?
I really wonder. I wondered when I was a kid. I was like, some of this is racist. Some of this is... And I knew this stuff when I was a kid, but I was like, I don't care what they do. It's not my place to judge them. I don't care if they're racist or whatever. I mean, I care if it affects me, but I don't care if some director is fucking racist in their depiction or something like that. I'm not that director.
Does Raiders of the Lost Ark match what the Bible actually says about the Ark of the Covenant? In this review, we'll examine that question. Is it biblical? Since this is not a film about a biblical event, it just deals with the biblical theme of the Ark of the Covenant, I'm going to start Raiders out at 50% biblical. Then I'll add 1 percentage point for everything they got right, and subtract 1 for everything they got wrong. Let's jump in. We'll start in Marshall College, where Indiana Jones was shown teaching in the film. It is there that he is met by 2 men from the military who want his expertise concerning a communication that they
Yeah, this is DMCA. I'm okay.
from the Nazis, who were searching for an ancient artifact in the Egyptian city of Tanis. From this information, Indiana concludes that they are looking for the Ark of the Covenant, and a discussion about what the Ark is, when it was lost, and what it can do ensues. Now, the city of Tanis was not, in fact, lost in a sandstorm in ancient history, and it was not rediscovered by the Nazis. That was just made up for the film. But the fact that the history of Tanis in this film is fictional is not really unbiblical, it's just not true history. And since we don't know for sure where the Ark is...
But it's fictional, that part doesn't matter.
...today, I suppose it is possible that it could be hidden somewhere in Tanis. But there's no reason to think so. It could just as likely be buried in the backyard of anyone who lives in the Middle East. There are several compelling scholarly arguments about where it might be, but from my research, no one has seriously suggested that it might be in Tanis. Anyway, in this scene, Indiana Jones says that the Ark of the Covenant was a chest that the Hebrews used to carry around the 10 Commandments. Well, this is a gigantic understatement, but it is technically true. The Ark was shaped like a chest, and the 10 Commandments were placed inside it. But it wasn't a chest designed to carry the commandments. The chief purpose of the Ark of the Covenant was in its lid, which was called the mercy seat. It was there that the presence of God would rest in the tabernacle of Moses. And once a year, the high priest of Israel would make an atoning sacrifice for the sins of the people, and would enter into the Holy of Holies, the inner chamber of the tabernacle where the ark was kept, and would sprinkle the blood of the offering for the sins of the people of Israel on that mercy seat. Inside the ark was more than just the 10 Commandments. It contained some of the manna that the people were miraculously provided in the desert, and also Aaron's rod that was used in the performing of several miracles. It seems that God had stored those items in the ark under the mercy seat, where his presence rested, as a reminder to the Jews that all of those things came from him. The provision of manna, the miracles, and the Ten Commandments were all sourced directly from God himself. A powerful message, to be sure. Then Indiana Jones proceeded to say that the 10 Commandments that were kept in the ark were the original 10 Commandments that Moses brought down out of Mount Horeb and smashed. He even added, if you believe in that sort of thing.
If you believe in that sort of thing.
Well, either this is true or not, Dr. Jones. It's not less true based on whether or not you believe it. But I guess that's beside the point. The real issue here is that the 10 Commandments that Moses put in the ark were not the original smashed 10 Commandments. You can read about Moses smashing the original tablets in Exodus 32, if you'd like. But afterward, in Exodus 34, God told Moses to hew 2 new tablets and bring them up into the mountain where he would write his word again. This seems to be a picture of Jesus, the Word that was made flesh, who came and was rejected by the Jews and killed, only to be raised back from the dead and will come again a second time. In the same way, the 10 Commandments were rejected by the Jewish people when they worshipped the golden calf, and they were broken, but they were sent back again. The point is that it was these second tablets that Moses put in the ark, not the first ones that were broken.
Did you guys ever go to Sunday school?
Then Indiana Jones stated that when the Hebrews settled in Canaan, they put the ark in something called the Temple of Solomon, where it stayed for many years until all of a sudden, whoosh, it was gone. Nobody knows where. This is true. It was placed in the Temple of Solomon. Hundreds of years after the ark was built, King Solomon, the son of David, did in fact build a temple for the Lord to replace the tabernacle of Moses, which was sort of an elaborate tent that had been the home of the ark prior to that. And it's true that we really don't know when the ark went missing. It could have been taken in any ransacking of the city from the reign of Rehoboam, Solomon's son, all the way until Nebuchadnezzar ransacked and destroyed Jerusalem 350 years later. Any king invading Israel and stealing their goods could have taken the ark. But then, Indiana Jones offered a theory that the ark may have been taken by the Egyptian king Shishak, who invaded Jerusalem about 980 BC, and from this he concluded that it may have been taken back to Egypt, to the city of Tanis. Well, in 1 Kings 14, during the 5th year of the reign of Rehoboam, Solomon's son, we were told that Shishak did indeed invade Jerusalem, and the Bible even tells us that he took away all
this
of the
ended up
treasures
being a
of the
Bible
house of the
lesson,
Lord,
and I came
the
for
treasures of the king's
Indiana
house.
Jones,
He
and
even
now
took
you're just
away all.
running, and you won't stop. Please stop. Isn't that weird how that works?
With 2024 slowly wrapping up, it's time to explore 20 upcoming space games coming out this year and next. However, these games have an actual release window, so no TBAs here, just really
Thank you,
impressive
easily
and interesting
distracted
space
games.
sims, RTS
I'd like to
games,
sub to your
strategy
channel.
titles, and a whole lot more. So strap in as we get to explore the great unknown. So first up, we've got Astrometica, aka Subnautica in space. And if that doesn't click with you, let me continue. Astrometica is a space exploration and base building survival game, and it's looking pretty good so far. After an explosion at a mining space station, you awaken inside an emergency pod adrift in the vastness of space. To survive, you must harness your skills, explore the endless universe, and search for other survivors' emergency pods or outposts. These graphics are looking pretty good, and as a base building fan, I was really enjoying the modular base design during my gameplay, as yeah, the demo is up on the Steam page. As a big fan of survival games like this, especially titles like The Planet Crafter and Subnautica, I'm really excited to see how this one goes, and looking forward to seeing how the devs make it stand out, but so far, I'm very much impressed. So add Astrometica to your wishlist today, as it looks like it could be a very interesting game to play in December. Next up on the list is Star Miner, and no surprises as to what this game is going to be about. Yeah, you're going to be mining in space, so hold back your thrills of excitement. I'm just kidding, but extracting valuable resources might really appeal to some players, especially after seeing these incredible graphics. In the game, you're going to be building up your fleet of spacecraft, constructing various rigs to mine nearby asteroids, but the problem with that is, well, too much mining is going to be increasing your heat signature, and that's going to start attracting aliens to come and attack you. This is where using defense systems are going to come in handy. But besides that, upgrading your vessels using modular designs just looks amazing. And I can tell the devs have really put in a lot of effort into helping you create such diverse space stations and ships for specific roles. There's also going to be some RTS and management elements and Newtonian physics for those precise movements. And me, well, I really enjoyed playing Star Trucker, so I'm hoping Star Miner continues my support in space resource extraction and transportation love. The game is set to release later this year, so if you're a fan of mining and resource management and in space, add Star Miner to your wishlist today. Next up on the list is Era 1, which can be best described as a combination of Homeworld and Star Sector, with hints of Factorio thrown into the mix. Yeah, it's a lot. Era 1 is an innovative space game that combines elements of real-time strategy, base building, space survival, and tactical battles. And it's all of which I think Homeworld 3 should have been. In the game, you can create and customize your base from scratch, construct various types of structures and warships, manage fleets, and engage in tactical space battles. The devs have also mentioned that they don't want anything to be cumbersome, so everything looks really like it was designed to be easily accessible. I mean, just look at the UI over here. And you get to use blueprints for quick and easy assembly of different ships. Also, those graphics are just looking mighty impressive. You get to choose from short intense matches to large epic battles on these huge maps, as well as including procedural generation of the maps to keep them unique. The devs, Team Complex, were behind the Complex mod from Homeworld. So, if you're a fan of RTS games and were disappointed by Homeworld 3, put Era 1 on your wishlist today. Then coming up next at number 17 is Reality Break, a fast-paced action roguelike RPG where you have the power to rewrite the universe. You have the role of a mercenary who suddenly has the ability to alter reality, and then you find yourself thrown into this chaotic maelstrom where other sinister and malevolent forces will attempt to stop you at every turn in an ever-evolving storyline. Now, I played the demo and I must say I really enjoyed it more than I thought I would. The music, it is so good. But that gameplay, which really reminded me if, say, Beat Hazard and FTL combined into one, that was a real kicker. The graphics are really colorful, they give great impact here, and the roguelike elements of different weapon types and ship upgrades really made it hard to put down. Plus, almost everything is modifiable with that rewrite mechanic. This, along with everything else, will let you upgrade and change your attributes of your equipment, unlock mythical abilities, and a whole lot more. So, if you're a fan of roguelikes and intense ship battles, definitely add Reality Break to your wishlist today. Up next at number 16, we have June Awakening, and boy, am I excited and nervous for this game to come out. Why do I say nervous? Well, it's a very ambitious open world survival MMO, a genre guilty of multiple train wrecks. But I'm a simple man, I see Dune content and I want to buy it. In Dune Awakening, you begin as a nameless prisoner who must survive in the desert land of Arrakis. In battling against others, you'll be able to use ranged weapons or get up close with, say, becoming a blade master. You'll be able to build bases, create blueprints, and sell your blueprints.
What was the name of the knife in Doom? Was it a Kry's knife? Yeah, like a Chris knife or Christ knife? I forget the name of it.
To other players. Again, very interesting concept. And of course, you'll be able to choose your various alliances, and then you'll have to go out and search for power via the spice. So yeah, there's a lot going on in this game, and I'm leaning more on the optimistic side of things here. So if you're a fan of survival games and you want it set in the Dune universe, then definitely add Dune Awakening to your wishlist today. Next on the list at number 15, we have Starship Simulator, the most ambitious game you've probably never heard of. It's built around the dev's question, what would I do if someone handed me the keys to a real fully working starship? Sounds interesting. And that's actually what the game sets out to do. You've got a whole galaxy to explore and the freedom to fly wherever you want. Your starship is also so extremely detailed here, it's insane. Right down to the very nuts and bolts, cables and conduits, all fully simulated and critical to the function of the ship's systems. On release, there will be 8 roles for you to choose from, ranging from commander to engineering to medical, or even just a civilian who wants to just, I don't know, tag along. And yeah, obviously ship customization is part of Starship Simulator, but here the devs are so extremely focused on every button or console having some important function on the ship, which is just crazy cool. Adding to the realism is the galaxy that you're going to be exploring, using real astrophysics and a true one-to-one scale. Every region that you visit is scientifically plausible to happen and is packed with everything you'd come to expect to find in a star system. There's tons of details on the planets too, including alien life support that can handle political structures, history, and more. Yeah, again, very interested here.
This one looks good. Starship Simulator, huh? Let's take a look at this game. I am looking at games that are better than Star Citizen, and I've only found like one. Well, maybe 2. I don't know. Abyssal Reykjavik, Abyssal Mercoxit, Hadal Bez. Nice. Let's go to get Hadal Bez. Sweet. Is anybody here? No, nobody's here. Look how cool this one looks. Wow. It's weird because I told this to go to the Abyssal Bez, but it seems to be really struggling with it.
The capacitor is empty.
Spaceship Simulator. Oh my god, is it already? No, this is the 15th. Oh, I go. "40 Forgotten Space Sims."
Hey everyone, it's Luke here from Al.
We'll definitely look at this one. But I came here looking for Spaceship Simulator.
With its amazing space exploration gameplay design,
Thank you, Obsidian.
Starship
I'd
Simulator
like to sub to your
is looking
channel.
to fill a huge gap in the space sim market. The game features a true one-to-one scale copy of the Milky Way, and players are free to fully explore it in their very own starship. Now, the last time out when I made one of these videos, I didn't talk too deeply about the exploration side of Starship Simulator, so I want to talk a bit about that today. I also want to touch upon where the game is headed next. Currently, it's available in a demo form. The demo is completely free and you can download it from Steam. The full game, however, is still a way off, and in fact, Starship Simulator is about to launch a Kickstarter campaign very soon. More on that slightly further into the video. Now, I mentioned exploration. The good news is that the game is built as an exploration-focused game from the ground up. Exploring a full galaxy is the main objective and the main goal. In fact, the game's developer recently said, "When I first started designing the game, the question I wanted to answer was, if I were handed the keys to a fully working starship, what would I do with it? The first thing I would personally want to do is explore and see what's out there, so that's the core of the gameplay loop." So if you're anything like me, this is
It's 3
absolutely
gigs.
amazing news.
How is this
There's
3
virtually
gigs?
no space games out there where the focus is exclusively on exploration as a core gameplay loop. Sure, exploration forms key aspects of games such as No Man's Sky and Elite Dangerous, but I'd argue that exploration isn't their main goal. A space game that focuses purely on exploration then has a massive amount of potential, and what's more, as the developer states, the idea is to hand the player the keys to a fully working starship. And that, in a way, kind of brings us to the elephant in the room. Starship Simulator is obviously more than just a little inspired by Star Trek. The ship in the demo has plenty of similarities to start with, especially on the exterior. The full game, however, is looking as though it will have a lot more of its own style. On the screen right here, we can see the current work in progress for the ship that will be in the final version of the game. And the Kickstarter pre-launch image also gives us a bit of a glimpse at the ship as well. Now, talking of the Kickstarter, there's a link in the video description where you can find out more about this. Currently, the Kickstarter isn't yet active, but it's going live later this month. For now, why not head over to their pre-launch page and give it a follow so you can get more updates when the campaign goes live. Do check out that link. Now, talking of that Kickstarter image, it does highlight the one-to-one scientifically accurate galaxy. Fans of Elite Dangerous will likely find this very appealing, and the fact it is a sandbox game just adds to the appeal for me. So players are free to travel where they like, however don't expect to be able to travel clear across the galaxy in a short time. Travelling between star systems doesn't happen as a jump or as a loading screen. Instead, the ship travels interstellar space in warp, and that means the real gulfs between stars actually need to be travelled. That's not to say travelling is slow, far from it. In fact, you can transition between the star systems very quickly. Travelling across the entire galaxy, however, is going to be a very different story and will take a significant amount of time. Along the way, there's going to be plenty to discover, including the things you might expect to see, such as a whole variety of different planets. But if you really want to go in search of other things, such as black holes, well, they look truly beautiful. Meanwhile, developers Fleet Yard Studio have been keen to emphasise that, alongside exploration, the game is very much about life on board a starship. They say, so the idea with the game is to live and work as a part of the crew on a fully simulated deep space exploration vessel whilst exploring the stars. There are various player roles available from captain to chef, and your chosen role will determine your gameplay loops. We're going to put a lot of effort to ensure that the galaxy is an interesting and varied place to explore, and the challenges you discover on your journey will generate gameplay for your chosen role aboard the ship. So, yeah, the game will be both single player and multiplayer, in case you're wondering, which means that there's going to be something for you regardless of your chosen playstyle. The studio continues by saying, the idea is that the same event will feel different to each role on the ship. The captain will be making the decisions, the engineer will be ensuring the ship continues to function, the tactical officer will be dealing with any direct threats, or the science officer will be feeding back information, and the chef will be making the all-important snacks. It's really a life sim set aboard a starship. Players are free to do virtually anything they want in the game, so really we're keen for players to think on their feet and handle challenges in a way that they think works best, whatever that may be. If the chef wants to grab a firearm and start blasting intruders, there's nothing stopping them. So that all sounds good. It's very early days yet, however, so it's important to keep in mind that the game is a long way from being released. And as with any Kickstarter project, we need to be aware that not all plans survive contact with the players. In other words, plans and goals can shift and change over time. But that said, the current demo on Steam is a great proof of concept. I'm certainly very interested to see where this game goes. So again, if all of this sounds interesting to you, do check out that link in the video description and give the project a follow so that you'll be notified as soon as it goes live on Kickstarter on the 19th of March. And I'll be looking at this game again as soon as there's more information available. As always, thanks for watching to the end. I'll catch you next time. An extremely deep space simulation game that blends together complex starships in a full-scale galaxy, where exploration is the core focus.
Did we just do this?
LT Gaming, and welcome back to the channel. I'm really excited today because I'm doing my first ever compilation list, and it's 40 forgotten space sims from our ongoing series. It really is a great way to round off 2024, although I'm definitely not finished with this series. I've more videos to make, but we'll maybe push out to 2025 because there's so many sales lists coming and just other things we have to focus on. But space sims will always be paramount on this channel. I've also a copy of Liberation which features on the list to give away today, so make sure to comment below how many of these titles you've actually played or you own, or make some suggestions. I'm going to pick a random comment to give that key away to. I may also have some other keys coming. I'll give those away on this video as well, so stick those comments below, let me know what you think. Once I pick a winning comment, I'll comment below and you will have to join our Discord to collect your prize. Space simulation games have been really important for this channel and I really appreciate all of the support, so you've got a really great resource here for you to go into those Steam sales, wishlist all these titles. If you're new to the channel, this is going to be a brilliant video for you. If you're already an LT gamer, then you can go through and maybe let me know all the titles that you picked up. I did my absolute best to edit this together so it makes sense. There may be some topical issues I discussed in certain videos that don't make sense anymore, or I may have missed an edit here and there, but you get it, right? I've put all of the videos together from our series as one big resource for the year. So thank you, space simulation fans. Let's jump in, have some fun. 40 forgotten space simulation titles, super exciting, and there's plenty more to come for space simulations on this channel. I've always wanted to have a resource like this, and now we have it. Enjoy. And kicking off this particular list is Tachyon the Fringe. Dive into the depths of the galaxy with an exhilarating space simulation game developed by Novalogic. As Jake Logan, a skilled pilot wrongfully exiled from the core systems, you must navigate the treacherous outskirts of the galaxy known as the Fringe. engage in intense dogfights, forge alliances with various factions, and undertake daring missions to restore your name and unravel the mysteries of this vast frontier. This title features an immersive storyline, dynamic voice acting by Bruce Campbell, and a richly detailed universe. Overall, Tachyon the Fringe offers an unforgettable journey through the stars, where every decision impacts your path to redemption. Will you become a hero or an infamous mercenary? The choice is yours in this epic space adventure. One thing to remember about this title is you can get it on GOG, where I actually own it, or you can pick it up on Steam, where it's rated very positive at 89%, and for an old game, it's actually playable on the Steam Deck. When I attempted this, however, I did have an issue with the controls where it just kept spinning my ship around, so that is something to bear in mind, but I'm sure there is a fix for it. But if you're looking for a throwback space simulation that has a really good and engaging story, then Tachyon the Fringe is definitely one to consider. Storming onto the list next is Rebel Galaxy, a title that's been called out many times in the comments on these videos. In this title, you will embark on a thrilling journey through the cosmos. Rebel Galaxy is an action-packed space simulation developed by Double Damage Games. As a lone captain of a powerful starship, you must navigate the lawless fringe of the galaxy, encountering a myriad of characters, from friendly traders to ruthless pirates. In this game, you will engage in epic ship-to-ship combat, explore uncharted star systems, and trade valuable goods to amass wealth and power. I mean, pretty much what we do in day-to-day life. With a branching storyline, stunning visuals, and a dynamic soundtrack, Rebel Galaxy offers a captivating and immersive experience where your choices shape your destiny. Essentially, the galaxy is yours to conquer in this epic space adventure, whether you want to do it as a cunning merchant or a fearsome warrior. Although it might be a little bit more arcadey than some of the space simulations we featured in the past, I really enjoyed revisiting this one, and it's a very fun title. It's also rated very positive on Steam at 85%. Warping onto the list next is Star Trek Bridge Commander, an absolute favourite of mine and a classic title which helped launch our channel into bigger things. You will step into the captain's chair and command your own starship in Star Trek Bridge Commander, a space simulation game set in the iconic Star Trek universe. Developed by Totally Games and published by Activision, this game puts you in control of the USS Dauntless as you navigate through challenging missions, encounter new species, and explore distant star systems. You will coordinate with your crew to manage ship systems, engage in tactical battles using advanced starship weaponry, and unravel the mysteries of space. Featuring authentic Star Trek lore, immersive voice acting, and stunning graphics, okay for its time, Star Trek Bridge Commander offers an unparalleled experience for fans of the franchise and space simulation enthusiasts alike. It truly is a game which I think transcends Star Trek and can be appreciated by even just the general space fan. I have to say this, but boldly go where no one has gone before in this unforgettable journey across the final frontier. And of course, Star Trek Bridge Commander was absolutely massive for this channel, being one of our first videos ever to break 100,000 views. And that brings me to a very important topic with this game. The classic game is good and you can pick it up on GOG, but it's the new mods like the remastered mod which make this title truly great to play again in 2024. If you want to jump into the details of the modding scene with this title, I'll make sure to link that video below. I mean, I have to say it's pretty cool, even if I did make it myself. And then you can jump into the Discord where we'll help you source the mods if you can't find them. We also covered the excellent Star Trek Legacy mod, and in the future I'm planning a video on the history of Star Trek gaming. It's going to be epic, so make sure to wait for that one. Bridge Commander is awesome, and it's a game I missed out on the first time around, so make sure you don't miss out on it now. You can pick it up on GOG. Right, LT Gamers, if you're enjoying this list or you're new here, make sure to like, comment your recommendations and what you think of the games on the list, and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to support LT Gaming, do hit the join button below, or you can always come and have some fun in our Discord. We appreciate all the interaction that we get. Next up, we have Dark Star 1. Embark on an epic space adventure in a captivating space simulation game developed by Ascaron Entertainment. You take on the role of Chiron Jarvis, a young pilot who inherits a powerful starship known as the Dark Star 1. Set in a universe filled with intrigue and danger, your journey unfolds as you navigate through diverse star systems, engaging in intense space battles, trading commodities, and uncovering the secrets of an ancient alien race. Customize your ship with advanced technology and choose your path. You can either become a fearless mercenary, a cunning trader, or a legendary explorer. With dynamic gameplay, a branching storyline, and good visuals for the time, Darkstar 1 offers an immersive experience where every decision shapes your destiny. Prepare to embark on a thrilling quest across the galaxy in search of truth and power. And that's just with LT Gaming. The game can be picked up for a very cheap price on Steam and is rated very positive at 82%. And once again, for an older title, it's rated playable on the Steam Deck. Next on the list, we prepare for an interstellar odyssey in Starcom Unknown Space, a space simulation game that thrusts you into the heart of an uncharted cosmos. In this title, you will build your own starship while discovering an epic story in a universe of strange mysteries, alien factions, and uncharted worlds. This is one of those classic top-down 2D space simulation titles, where you get to explore a fully open world universe with multiple quests and a deep story. You're able to research new technologies and survey unique planetary anomalies and investigate mysterious celestial artifacts. You can talk with different alien factions, each with their own strengths, weaknesses, and motivations. Overall, despite the simplicity of the 2D top-down view, this is a very immersive title, and sometimes with simplicity comes the ability to build out other systems that immerse you more in a game. Another great 2D title of note in this genre is Star Sector, and we featured that previously, which truly proves you don't need amazing 3D graphics to be a great space simulation. Starcom Unknown Space is doing extremely well on Steam and is rated 91% very positive, and once again it is playable on the Steam Deck, so you can take this game with you on the go. And finally on this list, we will embark on a solitary journey through the cosmos in Rodina, a unique space exploration game developed by Elliptic Games. As the lone survivor of a space colony, you awaken to find yourself in a procedurally generated universe, teeming with planets to explore, mysteries to uncover, and challenges to overcome. You will pilot your customizable starship across the vastness of space, land on alien worlds, and uncover the remnants of a lost civilization. With a seamless open world experience, dynamic weather systems, and a deep narrative, Rodina offers players the freedom to chart their own path and uncover the secrets of a universe waiting to be explored. You can choose to unravel the mysteries of the cosmos, all while exploring the vastness of space. And I think it's important to note that this is a single developer passion project, so it really does deserve your support, and it's great to find these hidden gems and feature them on the channel. Critically on Steam, the game is doing extremely well, rated 93% very positive, and is also rated playable on the Steam Deck. And that leads me to the honourable mention of today's video, and that game is Space Engineers. This game is super popular, and to be honest, it wasn't forgotten by you, it was forgotten by me in the Steam summer sales list that I did, and everybody let me know in the comments. The reason it wasn't mentioned is twofold. One, I've always seen it as more of a space sandbox, but honestly it does have space sim elements to it, and two, I haven't played enough of it. It's so hard to be a YouTuber that covers a vast array of games and have hundreds of hours in every space simulation and sandbox. It's just one of those games that I actually own but haven't been able to dive deep into. But regardless, I wanted to bring it up on this video as an excellent title that you definitely should consider. If you don't know about the title, it's a sandbox game about engineering, construction, exploration and survival in space and on planets. It truly is the definition of a space sandbox, and I'm determined to increase on my 2 hours of game time over the next few weeks, so I'll be checking it out in more detail. Star Explorers, which is a procedurally generated space exploration sim where players search for a new home for humanity. The game features planet exploration, resource gathering and alien encounters. Players map star systems.
I'm gonna take a look at getting started in Space Engineers again, because it's like I don't like the build. I like the building side of it, but I don't like the engineer side of it and all that work. See all that work they have to do. I'm not really too into that because it takes so much time. I'm playing too many games to sink that much time into it. Maybe Starfield is just my space game. It fucking sucks. Like, I think Bethesda kind of understood this, that anybody who kind of got the combat acceptable in any of these games was pretty much going to win. You could tell they really worked on Starfield's combat, because when I look at these games, I'm like, this game can't be fun because there's no combat in it. You know, and Starfield at least has combat. The exploration is boring in Starfield because it's all load screens, but yeah. Maybe I want to start a new character on hardcore, because my Starfield will not disconnect. And hardcore, with the right settings, like having my damage low and their damage high, a new hardcore Starfield could be good, because I was like playing it and like, I don't know, the disconnect was the main issue. When I disconnected on yeah, how much was this? How much is that worth? 8 million. Hadal Bez and Abyssal Bez. Nice. Well, I'm sure it's worth something. It can't be compressed, so I suppose I'm not really the biggest fan of... Well, it doesn't really matter, I suppose. It doesn't matter. I can haul around with the Miasmos. It doesn't really matter. And I can carry a lot too. Like that's 24,000, which is a lot. For what, 80 more? Yeah, that doesn't seem right. Is that right? Oh yeah, I have like 6 or 7 loads of this, and it's just not giving the right value. But Hadal Bez. I mean, I have a website. Let's go look. Hadal Bez. I think Star Citizen is eventually my game, but it's going to be another 3 years or something. I need something in between. I guess Starfield works, but I think it's got to be harder. I've got to make Starfield harder. Maybe I should go back to the Nexus and see. Whoa, what the fuck? Starfield Nexus. There we go. And I'm looking for difficulty. Let's see, Starfield difficulty mods, right? Let's see if anybody points them out. Good difficulty mods, right? I'm killing everything so easy. Yeah, but, yeah, me too. So that's good. Yeah. Look at combat AI, deadly difficulty. Oh yeah, let's see. Improve combat AI. Oh yeah, zone levels, right? Experimental combat AI. I've not heard of that one. Nope. this wasn't that good. Oh, the mod's hidden. Oh yeah, that's just that. Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to install the hardcore mod and start over. Or no, maybe I should just keep several no, once you install the hardcore mod, you have to start over completely. It's stupid. Yeah, it's interesting, but it's too drastic. Scarfield. Starfield multiplayer. Wow. No. Okay, let's go back out. We haul some Hadal Bez. Forge. Okay, I did the full cycle, did I? No, I didn't do the full cycle, no. Timber. Lumber. Wordwood planks. Ironwood planks. 13 strange resins. Emerald gypsum. Maybe I can buy a key. I don't know. Let's go find out if I can. Oh no, I don't know. Am I full? Yeah, I'm really full. So I guess I make sales now. Never mind.
Warp drive active.
Okay, let's sell. Dark hide.
Upgrade equipment and explore caves in a vast, although a little bit janky, universe created by a solo developer. The pros here include a vast procedurally generated galaxy with varied planets, great exploration and a resource management focus. On the con side, there are rough edges and some janky mechanics and overall simplistic visuals. However, even at full price, this game is only $4.99, it's rated very positive at 84% on Steam, and it's also playable on the Steam Deck, one of the main reasons I want to pick this title up. Moving onwards, we have A-Spec First Assault, which is a space combat simulator that emphasises realistic flight physics using a Newtonian system. Players engage in intense space battles while managing ship weaponry and systems. The game offers deep ship customization with a variety of modules providing both strategic and action-packed gameplay. One of the real bonuses here is that realistic Newtonian flight model, which is always awesome to see, and the detailed ship customization. However, this is one of the games on the list I'm a little more hesitant about, as it has limited content compared to the larger space sims that are out there. I think if you're not looking to buy the bundle, then this is one to definitely wishlist and see how it develops over time. Next up though is a game I've played a lot of in VR, and that's Absolute Territory, which is a space combat simulator where players engage in fast-paced dogfights against warships and starfighters. Utilizing Newtonian flight physics, players must manage power settings and outmaneuver enemies across various missions. The game features hazardous environments like asteroid fields and mines, adding tactical depth to the campaign and leaderboard modes. The pros here include the ability to play in virtual reality and pancake mode, engaging in dogfights with realistic physics. The challenging environmental hazards and the virtual reality performance are a real bonus here. However, on the con side, there is a bit of a limited mission variety overall. Overall, it's rated positive on Steam at 80%, and although it's not listed as Steam Deck playable, I remember definitely playing this one on the mobile platform. Next up, we have Astra Protocol 2. This title tasks players with investigating a mysterious event called the Astra Protocol. You must search for survivors and uncover the truth while facing a high probability of hostile encounters. The game emphasizes exploration and combat as you navigate through a tense, unknown environment. Using text commands and a 1980s themed interface, players navigate celestial bodies and avoid hostile spacecraft. With guidance from an operations manual that you actually have to go and look at, you must search for survivors and unravel the protocol's mystery, all while facing high probability threats in deep space. The pros of this title include the unique retro interface with the need to consult that manual offline, and also mystery-driven exploration with combat. There is of course a steep learning curve here due to the manual-driven gameplay, and it has a very niche appeal, so that's something to consider. But it is rated 85% positive on Steam, and you should definitely go add to that if you do decide to play this. Astrox Imperium. Emerge from your cryopod and venture into the void. Astrox Imperium is an open-world space RPG that combines familiar gameplay with an expansive universe. With a plethora of ships, upgrades and options, getting lost in space could be an exhilarating adventure that you have to try. Now this is a game I featured on the channel when we were in our infancy, and it's a really fun single-player EVE Online type experience. In fact, many people have described it as EVE Offline. So if you prefer venturing across the vastness of space alone without the interference of other players, this could be the title for you. It features an open world with exploration allowing you to explore over 100 maps, each with unique resources, stations, structures and secrets. You can fly, fight, mine, refine, craft and trade in this all-encompassing space simulation. The game is still in early access and it was receiving very regular updates, but these have slowed down somewhat, so that's one area for concern. Overall though, it's rated very positive on Steam with a 90% rating, which is great to see, and it's also playable on Steam Deck. Coming up next, we have Children of a Dead Earth. This game was recommended by so many users on our other list that I had to include it, and I actually did put this on a sales list quite some time ago, but essentially it claims to be the most scientifically accurate space warfare simulator ever made. You can design your spacecrafts using real-world technologies, traverse the solar system using actual orbital mechanics, and command fleets as the solar system descends into war. To state that there's a learning curve to this game would be a bit of an understatement. You definitely need to do your research before you play this one, and it's for the hardcore player. They claim that every technology from the nuclear thermal rockets to the railguns to the magneto-plasma dynamic thrusters was implemented using actual equations from engineering and physics textbooks and white papers. LT gamers, you will never appreciate how many takes it took me to say magneto-plasma dynamic thrusters. Regardless, this is definitely a game for the hardcore, but is extremely rewarding once things start to click. And overall, it's rated very positive on Steam with an 89% overall rating and is playable on the Steam Deck. Next up is a real gem in Delta V Rings of Saturn. Immerse yourself in a physics-based mining simulator set in the densest debris field in Sol. Every action triggers a reaction. Lasers remain unseen without a medium, and your thrust doubles as a powerful weapon. Engage in trade, customize your equipment to match your playstyle, and hire a crew to assist you. Uncover the mysteries of the rings, or simply amass your fortune. This is a great title and comes in at a very reasonable price of €8.19 or your regional equivalent, making it great value for money. This game prides itself on the fact that all in-game technologies are real and there's no technobabble. One of the really awesome things about Delta V is that it's still in active development and updates are provided all the time. If you're unsure whether this title is for you, you can try out the demo, which is always a great option to have. And the rating on Steam is excellent, with very positive 94% reviews overall, and it's also playable on the Steam Deck. This is a game that I played quite some time ago, but the fact that it's always being actively developed is dragging me back in, and I think you should give it another shot in 2024 also. Moving onwards, we have Pulsar Lost Colony. In this game, you will join forces to operate a starship and navigate a randomized galaxy descending into chaos. Coordination among crew members is crucial to survive the dangers that lie ahead. Essentially, this game is like Star Trek Bridge Crew without the Star Trek. You have the ability to play offline single player mode, but then team up online for co-op multiplayer with up to 5 players. There's 5 unique classes and everyone plays a role on the ship, with fast pace and tactical ship-to-ship space combat and the ability to teleport to other ships, planets or stations to join the away team. I mean, you definitely get the Star Trek vibe here, right? Whether you want to play captain, pilot, scientist, weapon specialist or engineer, you're definitely going to have a lot of fun in this game. If you're inclined, there's even a virtual reality mode with motion controller support, so you can become even more immersed in your space adventures. This game is a great experience, and the Steam reviews definitely reflect that with a 90% very positive rating. It's also playable on the Steam Deck, but I can't say I've tried it with this title. One to pick up if you want that Star Trek itch to be scratched and you're a little bit disappointed with the recent Star Trek game offerings. Next up we have X3 Farnham's Legacy. Now this isn't a title that you can just buy, you have to own X3 Albion Prelude first, but that's only €9.99 on Steam or your regional equivalent. So the barrier to entry here isn't that difficult, and it's definitely a game that most of you should check out. If you already own X3 Albion Prelude, then you can pick up this for free. X3 Farnham's Legacy is essentially a new game in the X3 space game series, where you can trade, fight, build and think in a living and breathing universe. What sets this one apart is it incorporates a new storyline and some more additions to the open, free-form gameplay that forms the core of the X game series. If you always wanted a slightly more story-driven X3 experience, then you are going to enjoy Farnham's Legacy. Overall, this is just a really exciting experience that I actually want to go back and check out again. Some people think the X3 universe was the best of the series, and this gives you more reason to check it out all over again in 2024. To make things even better, the critics on Steam agree, with a rating of very positive 86%. And maybe if you're looking forward to the upcoming X4 timelines, it's a perfect time to jump back into the X universe. To round this list off, we have Starbase, probably the most controversial pick of them all. As some of you may know, and some of you may not, it was recently announced that the development of the game would continue after a small hiatus, and honestly, that's something to be concerned about. While we want to give them the benefit of the doubt, you should definitely be cautious with this project, but overall, it has a lot of potential, which is why I thought I'd include it on this list. Starbase is a hybrid voxel vertex-based MMO set in a fully destructible and infinitely expanding universe. It emphasises building and designing spaceships and stations, along with exploration, resource gathering, crafting, trading and combat. So you can see the brief is an absolute dream for a space simmer. Mainly out of curiosity, as they announced they would be developing it again, I picked this title up a few weeks back and I've been really enjoying my time with it. It's one of those games where you fire it up and it feels like a world of wonder and you have to learn all over again. Though I have to say the tutorials didn't really help with that, as I had to go back and reset some of them just to try and get some sense out of it. This is a game that lacks polish, and overall the graphics really impressed me and I was kind of blown away by the game world, but it definitely has a steep learning curve. Since playing a lot of Star Citizen, the MMO aspect of this game really did interest me, although when I did this list there was around 150 players in game, which isn't huge, so the world doesn't feel massively populated. The design and build options in this game include spaceships, stations and devices down to the tiniest detail.
Wow.
The smallest building unit in this game is a single bolt, so you can imagine the level of micromanagement you can get down to when designing things. I was actually really impressed with the look of this game also. It felt great to leave my first starting station and fly into a cloud to mine. It just looked awesome and was totally immersive. From spaceship and first-person combat to the ability to travel, explore and discover. There's even going to be player factions and economy. The scope and potential of this game is huge, but they now need to deliver. So of all the games I've included on this particular list, this could be the title that really is the one to revisit in 2024. Or 25 or 26 potentially. Now the Steam reviews of this game weren't great and it dropped to mixed due to the game not receiving any updates. However, with the recent announcement, the game has moved up to mostly positive 75%. People are recognising the potential of Starbase. Moving onwards, we have a slightly different type of simulation game with Above Earth. This title is a science fiction survival game where you experience a struggle for life in the fragile artificial environment of a damaged space station. The game is set in a near future world where humanity has established space stations and bases on the Moon and Mars. As the player, you step into the role of an astronaut who witnesses a global nuclear catastrophe and must fight to survive in the devastating aftermath. The game has a very strong concept, but it hasn't quite delivered the vision yet, but it is in early access, and during my time I found it a very tough and challenging survival game with some really unique aspects going for it. This might be one to add to your wish list and keep an eye on, or if you like messing around with early access projects, maybe dive in. It's doing well on Steam, rated 74% mostly positive.
There's so many of these. I had no idea. Well, I want to watch as Starship Engineers getting started again.
Hello, and welcome to Space Engineers. In this tutorial,
thank you.
G'day, and welcome to Space
Split C.
Engineers.
I'd like
In
to
this
sub to your
tutorial
channel.
series, I'm going to go through everything you need to know to get from knowing nothing about survival to being able to build pretty much whatever you want and going nuts with the awesome mechanics in Space Engineers. When you first load up the game, I would strongly suggest going to New Game and starting with the first jump.
The capacitor
This is a
empty.
scripted, semi-storyline-esque scenario that'll give you everything from basic controls through to how do you pick up tools, how to put them in your hotbar, that sort of thing. If you get stuck anywhere along the way there, if you've made it to the moon, you should be fine to then jump across to this tutorial series and run with it from there. The learning to survive...
I'm gonna pee and get something to drink. I'll be right back. Oops, drop my pen again as usual. Stiff. Basic mount vittles. What are those worth? No existing sell orders. Look at us, 20 piece. 50. I'm gonna try 50 and see if I can get it. Oh, I didn't get my drink. Oops. I'll be right back. Maverick. Who is this? It is a venture. Hellos. Sorry, what? Well, if these guys are here, maybe I'll be left alone. That's cool. Enforcer, Johnny Raw. Johnny Raw missed me completely. Stuck.
Warp drive active. Warp drive active. Permission requested. Docking request accepted. Warp drive active.
I'm not wrong. I said what I meant. It's not privy to the stream, and it doesn't matter what I say. Everything I said was true.
Warp drive active.
Scenario is quite a good tutorial on the game mechanics within Space Engineers, much as the first jump scenario is a tutorial on the actual controls within Space Engineers. I recommend giving it a go, but if you get stuck, don't get frustrated, just leave it be and jump over to survival, as I will guide you through how you can do everything within survival, and then you can come back and actually have some big fun with this scenario because there's quite a difficult challenge at the end. So it should be fun to come back to whenever you feel like it. To start out in survival, jump across to custom game, and we're going to ignore all of these ones at the top of the list. They all start with different conditions, and most of them start with lots and lots of materials. The more common starting condition that you'll see people use is the star system. We're going to run with 100% default. I'm not going to change any of these settings. The only one that you might change is your online mode, in case you're wanting to start learning with a friend so that they can join you in your game. For now, let's press start. When the game starts up, you'll be met with this spawning menu. You can choose from a bunch of different pods. For now, we're going to choose the Earth-like drop pod because there are a couple of layers of difficulty that we won't have to deal with initially, but that we can introduce as we get more experienced. So let's click on that one. You can either double click on it or click respawn. You'll spawn in a drop pod just like this one. If you press V, we can see the outside, and you can see that we're about to land on a whole bunch of tundra with not much else around. If you're unhappy with this spawn location and you're in single player, simply hit F5 and do a quick load. That's going to take you back to the spawn menu, and you can click respawn and we'll land somewhere else randomly. As you can see here, the terrain is now quite different. And it looks like we're about to land on a tree, so let's do that one more time. Yep.
Autopilot
tree we go. While we're landing, let's take a look at the inventory aboard this ship. If we press I, we can see that in the passenger seat that I'm in, we've got an automatic rifle and some ammunition. I'm going to move them across to my personal inventory, even though they take up a bit of space, because I have a bad habit of grinding down that seat and destroying both of these things. If you then click on the show connected inventories, we can see what else is aboard this drop pod. In the O2H2 generator, we've got an oxygen bottle, a hydrogen bottle, and some ice. And we've got nothing in the survival kit or small cargo container, nothing in the parachute hatch. Whenever I start up a new game of Space Engineers, my aims right from the outset are always to get a source of power, to get something to assemble components, and to get something to refine down ores and materials so that we can build more things. And for us right at the beginning, that's most likely going to be a basic assembler, a basic refinery, and either wind turbines or solar panels. Since we're on Earth and we have access to wind power, that's going to be the better way to go. We'll get more power from less resources, and we'll still get power at night. One of the most important aspects to understand about Space Engineers is how conveyor systems work. This will allow you to move inventory around without having to manually handle it. What I've brought in here is I've cheated and I've copied in an extra version of the drop pod with a bunch of the armor and the seat removed, as it'll help demonstrate what we're going to look at here. If we go around to the side here, you'll see that we've got access to our O2H2 generator, which we can access the inventory of through this yellow highlighted port on the side. You'll see the oxygen bottle and hydrogen bottle, and we can move those into our inventory from here. We can also go around to our survival kit, which has a similar port, and we can access and move the ice from there into our inventory and move it out. We can't, however, move the hydrogen bottle.
Oh, oops. No, wait.
Hydrogen bottles are too big to fit through the pipes that are connecting these two blocks. These two pipes here, these tiny ones, they are small conveyor tubes. These are too small for most items to pass through. The simple rule to remember is that oxygen, hydrogen, ores, ice, ingots, and ammunition will pass through small, and nothing else will. It's not entirely true, but as a simple rule, it will keep you out of trouble. And with that out of the way, let's move to some resource collection. We've got our survival kit on this side, and it's going to be the thing that's processing all of the resources we collect, at least initially. So we're probably going to want to have our resource collection point nearby it. So let's dig a hole in the ground just opposite it. With drills, you have two different drilling options. You have left click, which will remove a small amount of voxel material and give you resources for that. You also have right click, which will remove a larger amount of area and will destroy anything in it. Now, I'm going to actually dig through the topsoil and get down to the rock in order to collect more materials more quickly. The drill removes a sphere of material, so if you're constantly moving forward, you should end up with a nice slope that you can walk down. So let's have a look at this difference between dirt and rock. If we left click on here, you can see, where'd that go? We just got a single piece of stone, 105. That's actually a pretty good yield from dirt. We do it again, we get about the same, or even less, 91. Now if we do it to the rock here, same amount, we got 256, 66, 94, and 9. That is a lot quicker. So you are much better off digging down to the rock and then digging here. Even though we have to walk a bit further to get back to the drop pod, it is so much quicker to collect resources this way. To transfer our stone to the survival kit, there are a few different ways you can do it. You can click and drag and drop it in, or you can move it across with double click, which will move the maximum that can fit into the accepting inventory. And the accepting inventory,
oh, I thought I had adventure here. I don't. Oh, well, that's okay.
Column. So if I'm moving back from here, it will always move to the top here. And when you're connected to a ship, that will work the same way. We can also move in stacks. If you control click, you'll move 10 at a time. If you shift click, you'll move 100 at a time. And if you control shift, you'll move 1,000. And we're about to use that again when we go to our production menu. To actually process the stone into ingots that are useful, we need to queue these up. And really, the most efficient way to do this is to queue a whole lot at a time. So let's control, shift, left click, and queue up 1,000. It's not going to work through that many, but it means that every time we drop stone into the survival kit, it will just work through whatever we've provided it with, and it will give us iron, nickel, silicon, and gravel, which is mostly a waste product. With these ingots, we can now produce some basic components. The survival kit has a fairly limited repertoire of things it can produce, but for now we only need a few steel plate, some interior plate, and then we'll have a look at what we need to get the wind turbine up. Let's queue up 5 steel plate and 5 interior plate, and let's click back to inventory. So let's double click on each of these to bring them across to our inventory, tip the rest of the stone back in. The stone will only get processed 500 kilos at a time. If you have a look across here, you can see the required, as I hover over this, is 500. It goes up to a massive amount because that's the required for this side of the production queue, but we'll look into that more later. For now, let's grab our armor block from our hotbar, and if you click it multiple times, you'll switch between large and small grid. So let's go with large grid. Let's place one of these cubes in the ground, and then we'll place the rest of the ones we've got on top of it until we run out. And now we've run out, we can then place our wind turbine on top, and we've got the start of our base going. For the wind turbine, if we pull out our grinder or welder, you'll see what a block has in it and what it still requires. So we still need another 5 interior plate, 8 motors, 20 construction components, 24 girders, and 2 computers. The 30 interior plate at the top are not strictly necessary for this to function. Let's take a look at our seat down here to explain this further. If I grind away these light armor blocks at the front, which can be a quite convenient way to get access to some more steel plate, we can then have a look at our passenger seat. This one contains 20 interior plates and 20 construction components, but you can see a functional line, and in anything that contains a computer there will also be a hack line on there as well. If we grind this down to just above the functional line, you can see that we can still hop in, even though we have taken, whoops, even though we've taken 10 interior plates and 19 construction components out of it. So the same idea is true with this wind turbine. We don't need to have all of the components in it for it to work, but those components on top are the things that will keep it working, even if it takes a little bit of damage. Now you can see my hydrogen is down to 9, so let's refill that. Around at the side of our survival kit, we've got an access point like this. If you press F on that, you'll get power, oxygen, health, and hydrogen, as you can see there. There's another way to refill our suit's hydrogen. If we go around to our O2H2 generator, we can pull the hydrogen bottle out of here, pop it in our inventory, and it will automatically refill our hydrogen in our suit each time it gets low. As you can see there, it just went up to 100, and now you can see that the bottle has 89% left in it. We can then put the bottle back into the O2H2 generator and it will automatically refill, using up the ice that remains, much as the ice was being used to fill up our suit when we went to the survival kit to refill there. Having the bottle in our inventory is convenient because it will refill even while we're mid-flight, which means we can stay up there for much longer. The downside is it's a fairly large item and will take up quite a bit of space in our inventory, limiting our ability to collect things like stone and making that process take a little bit longer, but for the safety, I tend to do it that way anyway. Let's have a look at what we still need from here. We still need 8 motors, 24 girders, and 2 computers. So if we go to our survival kit, we can go to production, go to our basic components, we can queue up 8 of these, 24 of these, or 30 because I accidentally clicked too many times, and 2 computers. Now we're probably going to need to collect a bit more stone. If you have a look at our required available list here, you can see that stone is huge because of this ingots we've queued up. If we remove that, we can then see just what's needed for the generation of these components. And that is, we need to have 79 iron and 8 nickel. If we add these back into our queue, let's go down and mine until we've got enough for those to get built. While that's processing, I want to talk about another thing that's convenient to remember while mining. If you want to collect up all these stones that are down on the ground, you hold down F and just look around. It's also a good idea to hold down F while you're actually mining into the walls. It will collect some of the stones that pop out before they even hit the ground, saving you a bit of time. So most experienced players will tend to hold down F while hands mining. We've got a bit of a problem at the moment. We can't put the stone into the inventory of the survival kit because the survival kit's inventory is full. The reason for that is the ingots are only being processed after the after the components are being made. We can actually reorganize this queue. You can drag things around and reorganize it and move the ingots to the front of the queue so that they get processed first. But we've got all the materials we need. Let's dump the rest of the stone and grab our girders, our motors, and our computers. Let's fly up to our wind turbine and get it built. There we go. 1 wind turbine. So we've got a bit of a power source. Let's move on to the next stages of what we need to do. We need to build a bit of a platform so that we can place down our assembler and our refinery. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a few of the blocks of armor off this drop pod so that we can get a few resources from it, rather than having to process down stone to get these steel plate. We can very safely take off quite a number of them from the drop pod without reducing its integrity. So I built a small 2x3 platform there, and let's build a ramp so we can get up onto it. And now we can place down our assembler and our refinery. The basic assembler has only a single cargo access port. That means we're probably best placing it sideways like this, and then using the refinery, which has 2 cargo access ports, we can place it like so. With the conveyors lined up like this, materials will be able to go straight from the refinery into the assembler. We'll also be able to walk around the refinery here and access the cargo of both because they're connected. Both of these blocks are going to require a significant amount of resources, so we're going to have to get to mining and collecting all of those. You may be able to salvage some of the needed components from various parts around the drop pod, but for now, because I want to use this as a vehicle in a future video, we're going to leave it mostly intact and collect most of our resources from below the surface. Since we're not going to be flying around while doing this mining, I'm actually going to drop my hydrogen bottle off just so that I can carry a bit more stone with each trip. Much as we did for the turbine, we can have a look at what's needed for the basic assembler and queue that up. I don't know about you, but I struggle to remember more than 3 things at a time, so let's look at 60 steel plate, 40 construction components, and 10 motors, 4 displays, and 80 computers. using control click to get the 10s for each of those. It's a reasonably safe rule that the last object in a list of components required that's right up the top, if it's the same as the one down the bottom, you will not need it to get that block functional. You just need it to make that block protected in case it takes some damage. We're rather tight on resources right now, so I won't be putting those into them just yet. And we're not going to look at what's needed for the basic refinery because we'll get the assembler to build that for us, saving some of the battery power that remains on our pod. And speaking of battery power, this is the battery around the side here. You can see that it's got 4 indicators on it. Those 4 lights show 100% full, greater than 75, greater than 50, and greater than 25% full. You can also see a more accurate readout if you go into your control panel, which is done by hopping in the seat and pressing K, or wandering around to one of these access ports and right clicking. We can then click on the battery and it will tell us how long it's got left. While that stone's processing and we're starting to get those components, let's have a look at another thing. We go to our G menu, which is done by pressing G. You'll see that you've got a limited selection of blocks available to you. You've also got a progression window here. This is where we unlock a variety of different things by building blocks. There are a few blocks on board this drop pod that you can build right from the very start, and there's a convenient way to unlock things like what the landing gear unlocks. So if we walk up to this landing gear and we grind it down below that functional line and then weld it back up again, we get the unlock. Another convenient one to do, especially if you've actually taken stuff out of your passenger seat, is to get in here and grind down this small cargo container and weld it back up again. Now that we've done that, if we go back to our progression tree, we can see that by building the landing gear, we've unlocked all of these blocks, and by building the cargo container, we've unlocked conveyor tubes and things like that, which is very, very handy to unlock early, and that's by far the easiest way to unlock it. Your first day in Space Engineers will be spent with a lot of mining because you do need a lot of resources early on, but we will come up with more efficient ways to collect resources that will save us a lot of time. We have a look at our production thing here again. We can see that we've got all the nickel we need, all the silicon we need. We're still a bit low on the old iron. Okay, looks like we've got enough resources for everything to get built, so let's start grabbing them into our inventory and loading up that assembler.
Thank you, Splitsy, for the excellent concept for my stream. I'd like to sub to your channel.
While those computers are getting built, let's talk a little bit about our HUD. On the left-hand side of it, you've got J, X, O, and L above a bunch of icons. The J icon is your helmet open and closed. Because we are in an oxygen-rich environment, as you can see below the hotbar by O2 high, we don't need to worry about whether our helmet is open or closed. If the helmet is closed in an oxygen-rich environment, your suit will constantly refill its oxygen supplies from the environment. If you're in an oxygen-poor environment, however, you will need to have your helmet closed, otherwise you will get injured. We should have our computers almost done. Yep, they are done. Excellent, let's get this assembler constructed. There we go. One assembler done. Now let's have a look at a bit more detail of this base. Right now we've got our basic assembler, we've got our incomplete refinery, and we've got our wind turbine. Our basic assembler requires 280 kilowatts of power to function, and our wind turbine is fortunately outputting more than that at 324. That means that we will be able to run this basic assembler off that single wind turbine. That was the reason why I built it up on a bunch of blocks. If you elevate your wind turbines above the voxel material, you will actually get better power output from them. So let's prove that. Let's grab a few more armor blocks and let's grind off our wind turbine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go 6. So it was 324. Let's see how it goes now. Nicely, the speed of the turbine itself actually relates to the power output. The faster those blades are spinning, the more power you're getting from it. So let's have a look now. We go to our control panel, go to our wind turbine. It's now 394, so we gained an extra 70 kilowatts from moving it up those 6 blocks, which is nice. If it was right down at the ground, we may not even produce enough power for this assembler to run, and we'd need to have 2 of them, which in the early game is a bit of a pain because that means a lot more materials when all it would have cost us was a few extra steel plates to raise that thing up. Of course, if you're trying to be stealthy, having a giant tower with a turbine on top is probably not what you're after. This next step is not necessary, but it's something I'm going to do because it helps demonstrate a few things. Let's grab our silicon, our nickel, and our iron out of our survival kit. Let's pop it into our basic assembler. Now, let's queue up what we need for this refinery to get constructed. So that's 100 steel plate, 20 construction components. So go to production, 100 steel plate, 20 construction components, 10 motors, 10 computers. 10 motors, 10 computers. You can see here that this basic assembler does not have the ingots production option. That's because basic assemblers can only produce components from already refined ingots. Good thing about it though is it can also break down components and create ingots from them. So if we go to the disassembling, you'll see that we've got 13 steel plates, so we could actually break those down and then we collect iron from that. So now we've got all the iron available that it took to make those. This relationship is perfect. You will get back everything that you put in. So you can disassemble and assemble to your heart's content. The only thing it costs you is energy. So let's go back to assembling. Let's queue up another 10 steel plate because those are the ones we just disassembled. Moving the ingots from the survival kit to the assembler is an extra step that probably costs more time than the time it saves by making the components faster. But as I said, this was just purely for demonstration purposes of the way you can manage these systems, but why you want to have conveyor systems organized to move materials rather than have to do it by hand. If, like me, you find yourself with components in your inventory, things like basic assemblers can actually hold some of those components, so we can dump those out and clear out a bit more space for the benefit. And my suit is now out of power. My lights won't work, and my tools won't work. But I'm not getting injured. The reason for that is I'm in a very safe environment. If you look to beside where the O2 high thing is, you'll see a warm indicator. I am in a safe environment. This environment is easily comfortable for me to exist without my suit, so my suit doesn't use up much energy to warm me or cool me. If I'm in a very hot environment or if I'm in a very cold environment, my suit will use up more energy to heat or cool me, and if my suit runs out of power, I will start getting injured. Now that it's nighttime and it's cold, you can see that I'm starting to become injured with my suit being out of power. And there we go. Health back, power back, and we'll be okay. So even day-night cycles will make a difference in terms of your temperature. It's something to keep in mind if you're likely to run out of power at any point. So usually nice to keep a power source nearby. And that power source can either be a survival kit, a med bay, or simply a cockpit that you can jump into. So if we put our seat back in here, we can actually recharge with that as well. You can see my power is at 98. If I jump in the seat, it'll jump back up to 100. So that's another alternative way to recharge your power if you're running low. Get the last motors, the last steel plate, and then we will build ourselves a refinery. And refinery complete. If you have a look, you can access the refinery through this port, but it will also, if you click show connected, allow us access to the basic assembler. That's going to be the easiest way to access both because you really do want them to connect to one another. If we didn't align them, we would actually have to manually move stuff like we were doing between the survival kit and the basic assembler, which just isn't ideal. You don't want to give yourself that extra work if you don't have to. I've just collected another load of stone to demonstrate how the basic refinery works. Unlike the survival kit, this one's got more capacity, which means we can drop the whole lot in rather than having to wait for part of it to be processed before we can drop it in. It also doesn't need...
Learning this game is like getting a job at, like, I don't know, a factory, and then like going through an intense, like, you know, fucking training thing. It's a fucking video game. There's no reason for it to be. I'm sure it's an engineer's game and that they're like proud of it. They're like, oh, we're engineers, we want to do engineer stuff. I get it, it's cool, but there's this degree of like a lack of ease of use that makes it where it's no longer even a video game anymore. It's more like a spreadsheet. And I'm sure some nerds like that, but I don't understand how they always say it's so. It always has, like, games like this always have extremely positive ratings because most people probably don't have the patience for this fucking shit. I don't. I barely have the patience for this much crafting. It's insane. I'm watching him schlep shit around to go stuff in another box and all this other shit, and to stack things in this and make 30 things for this and 10 plates for this and 10 computers for this. And I'm just like, I don't know. Like, don't you have enough micromanagement in your real life? Like, keeping my house clean, doing the dishes, and, you know, showering every day, and you know, I don't know, taking care of my family, stuff like this. Like, I don't know, that's all, like, basic stuff that I do every fucking day, and I get sick of the repetition of it. And it's like they kind of want to make that kind of fucking level of micromanagement as this thing in a video game. I've seen it before in other games too, like Dual Universe. Like, I watched an old you know, I haven't looked in on an old streamer that I used to really pay attention to quite a bit, although he's not that popular, but his name is Marquis Dragon. I mean, he was popular. He's a lot more popular than me. But I mean, like, you know, he has about 75k subs, but he's been in the game for 30 years. He's been doing this 30 years or something like that. He was around like day one YouTube and stuff. And like, and it's weird. He's been doing YouTube for 20 years, and he's been doing the MMO thing for 30 years, and he's on EVE Online like me. He was ganked, and he had 117 billion loss and a 90% drop. Oh my god. Loru's Invincible Freighter. Oh no, what happened here? What? Oh, okay, I'm dead. Yeah, I couldn't even get this. Okay, yeah, just pop me. I don't give a fuck. What the fuck was that? The fucking raging buttholes are fucking like really fucking pissy tonight. They must be getting their visitor. So he messed around about a year and a half ago on a game that I did think kind of looked good. Oh no. Oh man, this is from like a long time ago. It's kind of funny, but yeah. So this guy, he was playing Dual Universe, and he had a whole Dual Universe section, but he's taken it down now, I think. Or no, these are all his stuff. He's done a bunch of this stuff. Now he has so many lists and all this, but he did do. Wait, saving 16-year-old girl from registered sex offenders she met in game. What the fuck? He got 1 million hits with this. I lost 250 grand in a day. Yeah. Well, don't sell currency. You didn't have any money once they took it from you, huh? You didn't have any money once they took it from you because you were RMT. You made $1 million as RMT. I would love to do that, but I'm very conscious of the fact that my job is illegal. It's just like his job. It's illegal. He manufactures loot. He's sold WoW Gold and EverQuest Plat and fucking, you know, and all this other shit. And he made like $3 million, but then PayPal fucking froze his accounts. And my lesson from this was, and I learned from this, and he's the one who taught me. But I also think it's like, I never would have done. I didn't even know who he was until I was like 36 years old or something like that. You know, that was I only found out about him like 5 years ago or something like that. Not even like 4 years ago. So I was like even older. I was like 39 or something when I first found out about him or whatever. And. Oh my god, he's got a members list thing. Does anybody actually watch this? I suppose he probably does have like about probably 50 people who really watch him. Yeah, I've seen them before. I've been one of them. But I mean, I can't imagine doing that. I mean, it's weird that some of the aspects of streaming are something that I just couldn't do. I mean, I don't know. Like emotes, I don't think I could ever just sit there and do an emote. I don't know. I love emotes. Trust me, I use them all the time, but not on fucking Twitch. I don't know. Probably because I'm a streamer and not a watcher, you know? I don't think I ever would have been a streamer watcher, though. I didn't start... I mean, I've known streaming's been around for 16 years or something like that. Or whatever it's been, 12 years, whatever it's been. But I didn't get interested in it until, like... And I didn't watch a streamer even until, I don't know, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I didn't really... Like, you know, I didn't really care about that stuff until past the Fallout 76 era or something like that. And I still don't, kind of. It's weird. I mean, I'm a streamer, and I guess that makes me kind of a hypocrite. It's like, I suppose one of the things about these people is they kind of do want to collaborate all the time. I would pay money to keep these fucking people the fuck away from me. Almost all of them. I would pay good money to keep these people away from me. And it's weird. You know, that's a weird... I mean, I guess I'm just unpleasant and abrasive. I'm gonna lay the blame on me. I'm sure it's me. But a bunch of these people, I love watching them briefly. But like being in the same room as them, I don't think so. And that's weird. You know? They don't strike me as normal people. They seem like more autistic than me. And I'm fucking as bad as they get? I don't know. I don't know. He's talking about Thor AI, and I don't even want to know. Is it playing Eve for you? Then it's bad. It's the same old botting that you've been doing or whatever. It's funny. It's like, no thanks, I'm not interested. It's weird. So like I come to his channel and I see a bunch of stuff that kind of bothers me. It's sort of funny. I don't know. It's like I don't even know what it is, so I'm just gonna leave it be. When a YouTuber crashes out, Josh F. Hayes plays Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. Oh my god, they made the Soul Reaver remaster. I forgot about this. He did 5 hours of Soul Reaver 1 and 2 today. Yeah, and his views are like less each day.
So I was scrolling and I literally only stopped because I'm like, damn, this is hot. And that's creepy because she's 15. That good?
Yeah, that's enough. That's all I need to see. This guy did this recently. No, I know this isn't my game. I know it's not.
Anything queued up in a production queue, it will just automatically process anything that's in its process.
So I want to see when he leaves the planet, I guess.
Inventory. So that's any stone or any...
Because I want to see what it's like in space and Space Engineers, because I don't know. Cheap and great space games in the spring sale from 8 months ago. 1 hour of obscure ancient mysteries. Pirates Corporation and X4 Foundations. The Skyrim TikToker serving life in prison. I gotta bite. I'm gonna bite on that one.
YouTube Shorts or TikTok in the past few years.
Nope, I haven't. I think I've seen about 200 YouTube Shorts in my life. I don't know. I'm not trying to be this Sigma dude or whatever. I'm not trying to be this against the grain dude. I just actually the fuck am. I don't like Twitter. I've been there billions of times. I don't like Twitter. Don't like the layout. Don't like what they talk about. Don't like the format. Don't like the platform. Don't like Facebook anymore. Haven't since 2015. I don't like a lot of things. I don't like Reddit. I don't like fucking, I don't know. Like, I don't like engineer games. I don't like Factorio, and I don't like RTS and stuff like this. I don't like isometric. This breaks a lot of people's heart when I won't play Diablo and stuff like this. But I'm just who I am. I have these tastes. I was raised on certain games, and I just have tastes, and certain things I like and certain things I don't.
We get a similar breakdown of materials, but we also break down right to the last little bit. unlike the survival kit, which needs 500 units at a go. So
Well, I loaded the wrong video, but like, yeah, like, no, I don't watch Skyrim TikTokers. And I mean, is Skyrim TikTok good? I mean, what could possibly be in Skyrim that could even entertain a TikTok crowd? What could you even do? I guess you could show them things that they don't know. I guess, like how to fucking kill a dragon really quickly or something. I don't know what you could do. I don't know that universe. But I'm like, what could you even do for Skyrim TikTok? Is it all roleplay? Are you like, I'm a Khajiit, or not, you know, are you like, I'm a reptile, or whatever it's called, you know, scaly thing. I can't think of their fucking name. I'm an Argonian thief, and I'm in the Imperial City in Oblivion, and or whatever, like fucking Skyrim or whatever. I'm in Whiterun and in Skyrim. It's Skyrim TikTok. What could you possibly get out of that? I mean, like, I don't know. Like, it's weird because I stream Skyrim all the fucking time. I get streaming it, but shorts, Skyrim shorts, beyond showing you stuff that you don't know. What the fuck market could there possibly be? Let's find out. He's gonna tell me, but I just don't see a market there. I mean, like, do people sit there and watch Skyrim stuff on TikTok? I mean, they must.
Individual known as Jin Kid. You speak.
Oh no, he looks like a fucking absolute creeper for some fucking reason. He's blacked out his eyes in this video or something like that. The shirt doesn't fit you, brother. It doesn't fit you. You look fucking creepy, like you don't really know how to dress.
Of dragons as if I don't have an entire hold of solitude to look after. I don't have time for fairy tales.
Jin Kid is the creator of the massively popular Skyrim in Real Life series.
Oh, it's humor? Okay, I guess humor. Yeah, I guess to my discredit, it didn't occur to me that humor and entertainment would be pretty much the only thing it really could be. It's just him making them laugh with like fucking parodies and skits. Skyrim parody and skits? You couldn't fucking pay me. Somebody was like, here's $100 grand to pay your family to get them out of all their problems and everything, like, but you got to do Skyrim parody skits for like 3 years. I'd be like, no.
Essentially short.
No. Like Trump, I'd be like, nope. I'm not that much of a loser. Nope. You know what I'm saying? No.
Played as various NPCs from the game.
It's not funny. I mean, it's funny to dumb people.
Would go on to spawn an entire
this isn't good.
Genre of NPC.
This looks so hacky and bad.
Role-playing videos with many now.
I mean,
now making similar videos of their own.
Never mind. This is just not my fucking culture. So never mind. I'm gonna stop being a hater. More power to him. Never mind. It's just not my fucking culture. I see now that there is a roleplay element to this, and there is humor and all kinds of entertainment to it, and I was too close-minded to see the possibility of that in fucking Skyrim. Fucking Skyrim. Why not just write an original sketch? Why do you need to base it on Skyrim? I mean, I guess, yeah, somebody's gonna crack a video that goes viral, I guess. But I mean, what? Okay, when I think of Skyrim and viral, I think of like a couple of dragon videos, of like Star Wars dragon videos and stuff like that. I think of Arrow to the Knee. Arrow to the Knee was a honest to God meme. It like literally was, and it still is. It's like a meme. The Arrow to the Knee thing, where you go to Whiterun and the fucking guard just prattles on for fucking 5 hours about how he took an arrow to the knee over and over and over and over again. And you're like, shut the fuck up about the arrow in the knee. And eventually that became a full-blown crazy Skyrim fucking thing. But that's it. I don't think anything else in Skyrim's history was memorable in some meme way, in any fucking way or form, except for one other thing. It Just Works, which was like the Chalk Eaters making fun of Todd's lies. It looks like this. I don't know if you've ever seen this video, but it's actually DMCA, I believe, so I can't play it for you. These guys actually made money off this because it was actually that good. The Chalk Eaters did a thing about It Just Works. And that was actually really fucking good. The Todd Howard song, It Just Works, Bethesda. It just works, it just works. Da, 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 da. It was like this really catchy fucking like old retro like swing jazz like song. And this I can't play it because I've caught a temp ban actually I believe off this song before. It's actually a fucking, you know, it had 22 million views. These guys made money off this. You can't just play it. So but yeah, and so this is a bit of Skyrim meme that was universally fucking huge. There's been a couple of Skyrim fucking memes, but the only short that even had any comedic value beyond what you write into the fucking universe itself. And my suggestion to you as creators at that point is if you're creative enough to want to go do fucking Skyrim content, just make your own fucking content like I did. Make your own music or something like that. Don't fucking build a world out of somebody else's world. Because what happens? There's three things that happen. You gotta really be fucking aware of this. First of all, they generally fucking sue you. Or some form of that. They either fucking threaten you, or they sue you. Or they'll grudgingly let you exist, but they don't want you making any money that their IP created that doesn't go in their pocket. That's something that's never ever gonna change. So you think Todd loves you because you're making a successful Skyrim TikToks or whatever the fuck. And sure, more power to you if you do it. But my suggestion is just to do skits with your girlfriend because you guys are so much better. You guys are so much fucking better. You guys together are so much fucking better than the entire fucking Skyrim universe combined and all the voice acting and all the writing in it. You guys, like, honestly, write a cute little script for each other and do something kind of cutesy because you have this cute little boyfriend-girlfriend thing going on here or whatever the fucking... Maybe she's a paid actress. I don't know what the fuck this is. Maybe she's a fellow TikToker. I don't know what this fucking situation is. And I don't like making fucking assumptions that they're dating. I don't fucking know anything about this. But they seem like they kind of look like each other and that they live with each other. So I'm going to assume that they're either married or dating or something. I don't know. Maybe she's his sister. Who the fuck knows? Maybe... I really don't know. So, but... my thing is you can see that there's some talent here. There's a strong man here who is intelligent and obviously has some good taste and stuff. Your content, and this is something that I knew about myself long before I ever stepped into the fucking camera, like right in front of the camera, is like I knew that my personality is enough. I knew it. I've always known that it was. I don't need to build shit out of Skyrim or Rust or fucking... I think everybody that I met, almost everybody that I met, they needed to make some kind of reality out of the video game that they were living in. I don't really have a desire to do that beyond playing the games and letting it be my lifestyle and letting it pass the time while I wait to die or whatever in this fucking piece of shit worthless world with these backstabbing fucking traitors who try to throw me in jail for less than a possession of a fucking gram of drugs or whatever over probation violation, the terrorization of my ex-girlfriend and my best friend, and just, the loss of my friends and all the suicide murders and all the problems and all the suicides and all the bullshit. And so it wasn't that fun being here, and this is the thing that keeps coming up all the fucking time. But understand, I knew after all of that, I had the personality. I did. I had the charisma. I have the personality now. It doesn't fucking matter. I still do. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. It doesn't matter if it's 2:50 in the fucking morning and I need to go to bed in like 10 minutes here. It fucking sucks. I'm not gonna be able to finish this video. It sucks. I have to do something in the morning. It's so annoying. So, yeah, and like so I see this dude and that lady and this dude, and he's obviously probably skilled enough to be a content creator. So, but what do? The first thing that you do, and I did this too, and I'm still doing it. I'm like, I'm gonna build a career out of video games, and that's what he wants to do too. Trust me, this is what gets us all into it. You're like, I want my career to be video games. I love it more than anything else, except for my girlfriend or whatever. I definitely do want to do this as a living and stuff, and I understand that urge, and that's why we all jump in this, and that's a good instant urge to be a video game streamer or some such. But it doesn't matter. I still see somebody who is so much more skilled than the Bethesda crew. I see somebody who has more potential than the Bethesda crew, kind of. Not success. I'm talking about potential. Is he as successful as a conglomerate the size of Bethesda? Absolutely the fuck not, no. I'm talking about sheer potential. It's there. So what do you do when you have this kind of potential and you have somebody working with you doing collabs or something and you're making content and it's starting to be successful? Skyrim TikTok shit, right? And I'm sure this asshole, he's a fucking asshole. He's serving life in prison. I'm sure this guy's a fucking pederast fucking fuck up or whatever. I'm sure he's a fucking asshole. I'm already certain of it or whatever. But the problem is, you started out with a lie. You built in, trust me, Bethesda and them, they see this all the time. They see modders, they see TikTokers, they see YouTubers, they see fucking, you know, what's his name, interviewing Todd, Mr. Matty Plays and all this, and they see like a sheer amount of people, something like, I don't know, 100,000 people or something like that, who are making either their living or their lifestyle, like me, out of Bethesda games, and Bethesda loves this because it's just sheer fan service, and it's just great. It's the fans showing their love back and trying to produce this buzz in the community. But the problem is, you're not pushing you're pushing Bethesda when you do Skyrim TikTok content. Now I struggle with this a lot myself, so I do all the time. I do singing, I do politics, I do music, I make my own music. My 5th song is coming, but I don't know what it is. I thought I did, but I don't want to be all bitter. I thought I knew what it was going to be, but no, I don't know what it's going to be. I thought I knew what the song was going to be because I had the name, and now I forget. But it's like I had the name for the 5th song, but now I'm torturing myself because I think that the subject matter has changed again, and it's fucking stupid. Writing music is really hard if you're actually trying to do it from the bottom of your heart, you know? And so anyways, I look at this dude and I'm like, you start out with a lie, you're trying to boost yourself off of somebody else's fictional world that somebody else built. I've never understood this about fandom. You see it with fans who chase bands around. You see it with fans that, you know, it reminds me of this time I met this dude who had a motorcycle on like Colfax and fucking, I don't know, Downing or something like that. And he was like, hey, do you like Les Claypool? And I was like, yeah, I fucking love Primus. Yeah, that was a really influential band for me. Why do you ask? And he was like, I follow the Frog Brigade around. And I'm like, what the fuck is a Frog Brigade? Because I had no idea that Les Claypool even had a fucking solo band at that point. I was so far out of the Primus. Like, I listened to Primus when I was a teenager, when I was like 17 till about 24 or something like that. And I thought the Brown album was one of the greatest albums ever written, actually. It's fucking insane. But I mean, I didn't stick with Primus for 20 years. This dude did. And he's like, I follow the Frog Brigade around. And I'm like, what the fuck is a Frog Brigade? Is this some kind of French thing or something? And I realized, I'm like, wait a second, are you talking about Primus? And he's like, no, I'm talking about Les Claypool and the fucking Frog Brigade. And he's like, I got this motorcycle, man. I got this money. And he's like, I've never met anybody who knew what the fuck the Brown album was before. And he's like, you should follow the Les Claypool's Fearless Flying Frog Brigade around the country with me. You're cooler than anybody I've ever met in any of the scenes. And I was like, what? This is what he said to me. It was like verbatim. He was like, I've never met anybody who knew the sheer glory of the Brown album. I mentioned it. I was like, yeah, I love Primus. I think the Brown album is one of the greatest albums ever written. And he really liked that, I think, actually. And it stuck out. And I forgot all about this. I think that's Johnny Depp playing with Les Claypool right there or something. Or no, maybe that's just the Frog Brigade. I don't know what they look like. But anyways, yeah. And I love Les Claypool. South Park loved Les Claypool. Everybody loves Les Claypool. I think of him as the greatest living bassist on the planet. When you listen to the Brown album, you'd understand nobody does licks like him. Nobody plays the bass like him. Nobody in the world plays bass like Les Claypool. I mean, his band does, but that's it. Primus plays bass like him because he taught them. Nobody else in the fucking world plays bass like fucking Primus or Les Claypool. If you know Primus, then you know what the fuck I'm talking about. There's a couple of other bands that play bass that strongly, but it's not very common. It's, you know, so, but So he looks at me, this fucking drugged out hippie who looks like he's a mix between a raver and a fucking hippie, which I actually kind of dug. I was like, yeah, cool, yeah, whatever. And he was like, you should join me and follow the Les Claypool's Fearless Flying Frog Brigade around, and it'll change your life. And you should fuck all these hippie women with me, and follow the band around the country and be a Les Claypool Fearless Flying Brigade fan, because anybody who knows the Brown album should be following the Fearless Flying Frog Brigade around. And I was like, I sat there for like 10 minutes. I just stared at him. I was like smoking a cigarette and shit. And I was like, of all the things anybody's ever asked me to do, I was actually very tempted to say yes to him. He was like, you can get on the bike with me right now. And he's like, I've got tickets to the Frog Brigade. He fucking shows them to me. And he's like, we can go follow the Frog Brigade around. I'll give you some acid. And I was like, no way. And he was like, yeah, I'll give you some acid and shit. And I was like, okay, I had to sit there and I was like, well, I have a girlfriend and a job and a life, and I have a few regrets in my life, and this is actually one of them. I should have said yes to that motherfucker. I should have said yes to him, but all the time, I either have a girlfriend or a family, or I'm reciprocal in some kind of band situation or friendship situation where there's like 5 or 10 people living in my personal life in the day to day. And that changed when I reached about 39 years old, but it didn't change until then. Like, even in the fucking mental institution, right? I had the video game Flophouse, and I sometimes had like fucking 7 dudes in there all playing Fortnite and shit. I'm not kidding. Like, I'm not kidding. I had I had my friend D, I had my other friend D, I had my friend N, like there was P and L and shit, and there was like 5 dudes up in there. They thought we were smoking weed or some shit. They're like, why are you having fun in the fucking madhouse? And we're like, well, we're fucking stuck here. We can't do anything. Let's play Fortnite. Who fucking cares? We played Fortnite, and somebody had Mortal Kombat 16. And so for like, and for like on the weekends, we would like either watch the Broncos games, or we would like play fucking Fortnite or fucking fucking Mortal Kombat 16 or Red Dead Redemption 2 or Fallout 76, one of those 4. And like I always had at least N, if not D, if not N and D and D and P, all in my fucking room. Like, and this caused trouble with the house, because they all figured we were just gonna do drugs in there, which honestly was probably kind of a risk with all of those druggies. Yeah, I would say that was a risk. But all of us were sober, all of us were doing well. The only thing we wanted to do was just play multiplayer video games like Fortnite co-op, 2-player Fortnite split screen, or 4-player Fortnite split screen, or like 4-player Mortal Kombat tag team or shit like that, or whatever fuck, and we just wanted to have fun, because all of us were being destroyed by the system. None of us were happy. All of us lost our families or our girlfriends. Some of us were facing really bad jail bids, like me. I was facing 10 years of mandatory minimum sentencing. They're like, look at this fucking effed ass white boy who comes in here trying to act like some hard ass motherfucking kingpin. And I was like, motherfucker, I run these streets. What the fuck are you talking about? I run the motherfucking meth game in Denver. My partner A, she's the main source in Denver and shit. I would just say it. I'd be like, motherfucker, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm actually hooked up. You know what I'm saying? I'm hooked up. I'm hooked up with the Denver royalty. You know what I'm saying? I'm not kidding. I'm hooked up with the game. I actually am. It fucking sucks. I roll into a crew like that, the madhouse full of all the delinquent kids my age. They're like 38, something like that, and they're all fucked up on drugs, and they're all fucking facing crazy fucking felony charges and shit like this. And I play king. I'm the king of the tweakers. I can't stand it. I've always been the king of the tweakers. It's fucking so annoying. These people gravitate to me, and they can see that I don't fear them, and I don't judge them, and I'm not like them. But I don't mind being around them. I don't care who they are, what they've done. I'm not judging them. I'm not God. So they like me. These people like me. Almost everybody likes me. Most of the people that don't are really sick. You know what I'm saying? I'm serious. The people that didn't like me in my life ended up being either in jail for long periods of time or really, really mentally sick. One or the other, like shaving their heads bald and that kind of thing. And so understand, like, and I don't know. So yeah, and I should have said yes to him. I should have said yes to following the Les Claypool around. I think that actually would have been something I should have said yes to. I have a regret about it, sort of, because he was like, yeah, I've got, this dude. He was like, I've never felt a more kindred soul in a fellow Primus fan, and he was like, Primus. He was like talking like this. He was like, Primus is he literally was saying things like, Primus is my judgment for people's personality, and they either like Primus or they don't, and if they don't, I don't like them. I was like, dude, I know everything Les Claypool's ever written, except apparently his solo thing, which I'd never even heard existed until that point. I was like, wait, Les Claypool has a solo career? And he was like, you don't know he has a solo career? And I was like, nah, man, I've been fucked up on drugs for 10 years. I've been running the streets and shit. I have no idea what the fuck's going on. I'm burnt out. I'm 33. I'm going through my sexual revolution. I'm living with some girl downtown. I don't know. I'm on methamphetamine. I have no fucking idea what the fuck's going on. No, I haven't even thought about Primus in 10 years. And he was like, yeah, the Fearless Flying Frog Brigade, they're the greatest band that's ever lived. And when I looked him in the eyes, I really think he really believed that. He was like, the Fearless Flying Frog Brigade. I was like, I don't think I could say that over like the Beatles or Pink Floyd or something like that. But he was like, no, the Fearless Flying Frog Brigade is actually the most diverse band that's ever lived. They've cut like 15 albums. They're so really good that, they cover everybody all the time because they can do any bass line and any fucking guitar riff because they're like the greatest guitarists in the world. They're like the new virtuosos now that Frank Zappa isn't with us anymore. That was like the shit that he was saying, and I was like, yeah, I know. I fucking know. I come up in the record core. I come up in the record store fucking crew. You know what I'm saying? I come up in the record store crew. I was very aware of Primus. I was, like, come on.
Of internet success.
I was like, I didn't know about his solo career, but I knew about Primus. I was a big Primus fan. We used to put it on a lot. He used to put on motherfucking Tales from the Punch Bowl. Like, I fucking love Primus, you know what I'm saying? And I would follow Primus around. I did believe in Les Claypool like that, like basically the same way that guy did. I believe in Les Claypool the way that guy did. I believe in several musicians like that, and most of them are dead. I believe in Trent Reznor like that. I would follow Trent Reznor around for the rest of my life. If Bradley Nowell was still alive, I would follow Sublime around all the rest of my life, and I would still probably be willing to do that for the Long Beach Dub All-Stars. I would follow the Long Beach Dub All-Stars around for the rest of my life. I am a big musician type guy. I'm not afraid of following them around, being their roadies and shit. I know how to tune all the guitars, and I can play the drums and the bass, and I can sing with them and do backup and shit. I am not afraid of these bands. I would definitely tour with these fucking bands if given the option, but I mean, there's only so much stuff that you can do in a finite life and still have a video game career, a rating career, a fucking a taxi career, a fucking Uber career, a fucking drug dealer career. I mean, there's only so many things that you can do with your fucking life. Being a streamer, being a fucking family member, all this other shit. There's only so many things that you can do with your fucking life before you can follow goddamn Trent Reznor around it wherever he goes or whatever. And no, they don't want that either. I don't think these musicians actually want this. It's sort of insane. I'm sure the Frog Brigade kind of accepted it, and so did Ween. Ween has a following like that, and so did the Grateful Dead and Phil Lesh and Fish and the String Cheese Incident and all these bands that I know every single word they ever wrote. You know what I'm saying? Or I don't know who else is big like this. Like Garbage got a really big following like that kind of. So did Foo Fighters and stuff. There's like other bands that were just contemporary that were actually that popular. Taylor Swift is like that. There's a lot of fucking bands out there that I would follow around, absolutely, if given the chance. And that dude was like, yeah, I'll give you a motorcycle and we can just bike around the country wherever the Frog Brigade goes. And I was like, that sounds fucking amazing, dude. I was like, acid, motorcycles, and the Frog Brigade? And he was like, yes, acid, motorcycles, and the Frog Brigade. And I was like, I think I should say yes. And he was like, you should say yes. And I was like, are you like a Pied Piper taking me down some crazy dark drug hole? Are you going to get me killed? And he was like, yes. He was like, absolutely. And I was like, I should say no. And he was like, you should say no. And he was like, God's honest truth, buddy. He was like, I don't know why I'm asking you. I don't know you. And I was like, well, because I really love fucking Primus like you. Because I know everything that Les Claypool's ever done. I would follow Les Claypool around. I would follow Lana Del Rey around. I would follow Hobson. I would follow Yellow Wolf. Absolutely, I would follow Yellow Wolf around for the rest of my goddamn life. Hey, Yellow Wolf, do you need a video game playing dude who pays his own way for the rest of his life? I won't ever ask you for $1, but I just want to hang out, smoke weed, and bump Yellow Wolf and play video games for the rest of my fucking life, and follow Yellow Wolf around to all of his shows and scream every lyric and bump every fucking head beat and fucking, you know, bang my fucking head to Yellow Wolf for the rest of my goddamn life. I do love Yellow Wolf that much. I do. Michael Wayne Atha, I know his name. I mean, you know, I do love him that much. I don't love him like, you know, no homo or whatever, not like that. I'm talking about, like, I know every word that motherfucker's ever written on all 9 of his albums or whatever, you know? Like, I know everything he's ever done. I know everywhere he's ever been. Like, you know, I like Yellow Wolf like I like Nirvana. I would have followed Kurt around, absolutely. I would follow Courtney around. I know that sounds fucking crazy, but and nobody wants to hear this shit. They all hate Courtney so fucking much. But I love Hole and Courtney so fucking much that I would absolutely fucking date her. I would follow her around. I would sing with her. I would make music with her. I don't care that she's 20 years older than me. I don't care. Like I believe in Courtney Love. I believe in her. You understand? I believe in that lady. Like, I believe the sun's gonna rise tomorrow and shit. I believe in that motherfucking lady. I absolutely do. I surely do.
With well over 1 million followers.
And it's weird, there's a bunch of artists on the... I would follow Fiona Apple around. No problem, no hesitation. Hey, Skycatlive, do you want to just hang out in Fiona Apple's piano bistro or whatever that she does for the rest of your life and just listen to her play piano while you play video games? Yes, let my autistic ass sit on a laptop quietly in a corner. I'll pay for all of my money and all of my food. But yes, I would sit in Fiona Apple's fucking corner room from 9 to 5 or whatever didn't bother her or whatever, and just leave whenever she didn't want me or whatever, and just hang out and listen to Fiona Apple write music. I would absolutely do that. I would follow her around like a little puppy dog for the rest of her fucking life. I respect the musicians more than anybody else on the motherfucking planet. I would follow them around like the people, like the Christians would follow around God. Absolutely. I would follow Trent Reznor around like he was my own personal God, because he is. He is like my own personal God. He taught me that all of this, he taught me that what if all the world is just inside of your head, just creations of your own, all the devils and the gods, all the living and the dead, you know, and you're really just all alone. And I mean, that lyric enough is enough for me to want to follow him around for the rest of my life. And I do. I followed him all of my life. I know everything he's ever done. I mean, these people have profound influence on me. I would follow them around like a lapdog. I would bring them drugs. I would steal for them. I would lie for them. I would cheat on taxes and stuff like this for them. I would be their nutty, crazy, corrupt, drug dealer and or drug keeper or weigher. I would be their agent. I would be their fucking clerk. I would be their fucking their guitar tuner or their roadie. I don't care what it is. I would follow these people around and worship them. There's a lady in my favorite band. This is my favorite band. They're called the Espers. There's a lady that she didn't ever sell more than, I think, 30,000 albums or something like that. And this is my favorite band of all time. I think of them higher, and I hold them in higher esteem than the Beatles and Elvis and Michael Jackson and Woody Guthrie and Ry Cooder all combined. I hold the Espers in higher esteem. I think the music that they wrote sounded better. And to me, they were the core of the psychedelic folk scene, and psychedelic folk is why I'm still alive. I'm very aware of this. Witch Trap and psychedelic folk, which is my two favorite bands, are why I'm still alive. It's psychedelic folk and Witch Trap. And what are those two bands? The king of the and the queen, because it's really the lead singer's a female, but it's a duo. It's a duet, male and female duet, but it's a 9-piece band. It's Helena Hapsval, and I wasn't kidding about 9-piece. It's Meg Baird, Helena Hapsval, Norman Feder, Otto Hauser, John Herron, Ben McConnell, Brooks Stettensons, Chris Smith, and the other really notable member. The band is a brother sister sort of band, not brother sister, but like male female duet band, and it's Meg Baird is my favorite singer of all time, and then opposite her is Greg Weeks, and Greg Weeks is a lot harder for me to handle because he's much more refined and they're both about as refined as each other, but he's a lot more of a very vibe guy, and he was trying to do the psychedelic part of it. She was trying to do the folk part of it. His main influence was probably the Blue Oyster Cult. Her main influence was Pentangle, which is an old folk band from England, I believe they're from England, and the lead singer is named I can't remember the name of the lead singer of Pentangle, but Pentangle was extremely a big band for me too. They did songs that you might have heard before, like don't ever give a man your time. This is Pentangle, right? Or don't ever let a man steal your time. Don't ever let a man steal your time, which is a funny little folk singer joke. Don't ever let a man steal your time, right? This is an old funny folk song, and I love this, right? And it's so good. And it was originally a British and Irish folk ballad, but I know it because of a band called Pentangle. They did a really good version of this. And Pentangle, let no man steal your time. This woman, and now that I can see her face, I can think of her fucking name. It's Sandy. Oh God, Pentangle, right? Pentangle is one of my favorite bands, even though I don't like them that much. And it's Jacquie McShee. She's an Irish singer. Jacquie McShee. She's English. I'm sorry. Jacquie McShee, and Jacquie McShee was the main influence on my favorite singer of all time, the Espers, which is Meg Baird. And I wish I could play Meg Baird right now. I suppose I could. My shift is over. I'm going to stop because I have to go to bed. I can't stay up till 6 a.m. today, so it's 3:10 in the morning. I'm gonna stop the video. I'm gonna stop the YouTube recording here and place my video on upload. But I'm gonna play some music for about 10 minutes before I go to bed here. At like 3:30, and so just a reminder, guys, you've been watching Skycat Live. This video ends here, and I'm gonna violate some DMCA, so I can't be on YouTube, and I'm terribly sorry. But we'll play some of the music that I'm actually talking about. So if you want to see what I'm doing and you're on YouTube, come on over to the Twitch and listen to me play some really good music and stuff. So, but anyways, I'm Skycat Live. I'm a full-time variety gamer all day every day. Put me on in the background. Click on the cast space to donate. I come to my Twitch or my YouTube and give me a like, sub, or a follow. And thank you to all the people that have given me likes, subs, or follows in the last few days. I love you guys. Thank you for all the support, and I'm sorry if I ignore you. I just can't do the recording and play the video games and do the chat and all that stuff all at once. It's very difficult to be an MMO streamer and still talk to people, because MMOs require your focus almost at all times. MMOs, they don't require your focus if you're AFK, but if you're trying to play them, they require your fucking focus, because if you don't, they AFK you out like this. See it? So it's hard for me to do the chat, and I apologize that I'm not doing the chat. But anyways, so I'm going to stop this video here, but I'm going to keep the stream going.